Go and throttle up.
Hello, welcome to the Space and Rocket Review. Space and Rocket Review. You two girls, tell your friends. One night only, every night, Space and Rocket Review. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to EJ Space and Rocket Review. I am EJ, your host, and I will be presiding over the next 2 to 3 hours of space news and what's going on in the spaceflight industry. Hence the Space and Rocket Review. You two girls, tell your friends. Space and Rocket Review. I'm currently transferring over a bunch of links that are compiled from the community, from the OP Creeper and Phillips Turtle, Mr. Turtle in chat. Hello, Mr. Turtle. And a couple of other things. All right, let's go there. Let's go there. Let's go there. All right. Thousands, you got something? Okay. Yeah. All right, cool. Okay. How's everybody doing tonight? It is Tuesday. Can't see you. Oh, I know. I just wanted to get all the links compiled. Hello. I am EJ, your host. I'm trying to be a little bit more professional with opening up this space news and not just keep going where I was because, you know, someone just clicked on this video. Hello. Yeah, I'm talking about you. And they might get confused as to what the heck's going on. Don't worry. I will make sure that I confuse you so you have no idea what's going on over the next 3 hours. It'll be fine. Anyway. What is going on? Let me tell you. Professional. Okay. I can get out of that. What the heck is this place? We read books here. I'll read a book. All right, anyway. Wait, is this book club? No, that's on Fridays. All right, so let's roll. Bastardo had a 19-month resub in there. Thank you very much. El Bastardo. All right, let's roll. So we're going to go through stuff that's quick. This will start and we'll probably end with this too. So Ship 31, Starship Ship 31 has moved. No, that's not photoshopped. Has moved to the launch site from the build site in preparation for Flight 6, which will be tentatively it's on the 18th, so on Monday. We have bananas for scale there. What is that behind you? Did they catch a booster? They did catch a booster. Yes, yes, yes. When it comes out, Bastardo. We're going to get banana cam during flight. Well, there's a camera right there that's looking at the forward flaps. I'm not sure if you're gonna. I'm not sure if you're gonna see the banana, but maybe. There's also a camera right here, I think, looking backwards. There's a camera in the flap, but we'll see. So it has moved. We will talk more about that basically on the tail end of this. So check this out. This is a little bit of an update via Lab Padre from CSI Starbase here as well. We're on the subject of it. The massive drawworks for Pad B have finally arrived. The drawworks is what you see here on the Lab Padre stream. This is basically a big pulley that's, if you look at the chopsticks in the background on Pad A, right? You see the cables? The cables go up over the top of the tower and down the back. They go down the back to the big drawworks that are actually at the base of the tower. These are the drawworks for Pad B right there, which is super cool. That is it's an oversized load. You can tell because of the way it is. Oh yeah, I got a big old Western Star there, yeah? Oh, look at that thing. Look at that thing, all right. Why up and over the tower? How are you going to get drawworks to work if it's not going up and over the tower, James? Yeah, the chopsticks are basically just they're on like a monorail track, and the drawworks are working on a pulley, and that's what pulls this thing up, believe it or not. Yeah, simple. From above, pull from above. Yes, work with gravity, not against it. Yes. Is this thing nuclear? No. These drawworks are electrical. Anyway, that's pretty cool. We can talk more about that over there as well. So, here's another bit of pretty good news. Check this out. Dave Limp, the CEO of Blue Origin, has a really, really nice picture looking up the business end of New Glenn's second stage. Sent you Orion news on Discord. Okay. Oh, neat. Yeah, okay. Noted. Yeah, Dave Limp. Look at the size of the nozzle compared to the people on the scissor lift right there. Yeah, this is not a small thing. This is not a small piece of equipment. And this is probably, I think that's pretty much the first time we're ever seeing GS2, so New Glenn's second stage with the nozzle extensions on them. And man, it's an optical illusion. They're not offset. Yeah, we could really do with a banana for scale here, but man, is New Glenn a monster. This picture that was posted by Dave Limp was accompanied with this picture. This picture was taken a little bit later, and it actually shows the entire stack. First and second stage, GS1 and GS2. That picture before was taken right here looking up the business end of the second stage. We've seen the nozzle extensions before. Have you seen them put together on the stage though? I don't recall that. Well, maybe once, but anyway. They just got done putting the drawworks at Pad B. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Will this fly this year? They're gonna try. They're going to try. One thing that I actually did notice about this, dudes. We did show this picture when it came out, like when they posted it a little while back on stream. But something that I actually did, what part of New Glenn will be reusable, first or second stage? Right now, in this format, Grim, anything from here this way, anything from this back is coming back. That will land. This whole big thing lands. Interesting thing that I've noticed here, guys, the second stage. You see what I'm seeing? Second stage is hanging there. Yeah, it's bolted to the inner stage, to the forward module on Glenn stage 1, and there is nothing else holding it up. Do you see any jacks underneath this thing? Nope, just a couple of scissor lifts. New Glenn is basically designed to hold the second stage. It can hold the second stage up by itself. This processing ring and then the back processing ring back there are the only thing that's holding this up. Pretty cool. Yeah, the second stage can be held up by just the inner stage, which is pretty awesome. Will it return like Falcon 9? This thing will land on Blue... New Glenn's first stage will land on Blue Origin's landing platform vessel, Jacqueline. It's a landing platform 1. It's called Jacqueline. It's kind of like the drone ships that SpaceX use, only a little bit bigger, because this is a little bit bigger booster. It's a little bit bigger. Yep. Do the drawworks have counterweights, and if so, where are they located? They don't have a counterweight. No, it's just a geared pulley. No, there's no, it's, When do they think they'll static fire it? Bureka, well, they've already static fired that second stage. We know that that's a thing. The first stage, judging by this picture, probably next week, if I had to guess. This is pretty late in the processing phase. You can kind of tell because there's nothing else around this thing. You don't see many service gantries. All the service gantries in the telehandlers are down. So that tells me that this thing is close to being finished. This has seven BE4 engines in it, Rem. There's one in the center and then 6 around. And then the reason why it flares out at the back is because there's landing gear back there for landing. If static fire, let's think about this. If static fire is next week, they're probably going to try to launch it sometime in the week after that, which would really, I mean, maybe we get a static fire this week and hopefully they launch this week, right? Because it would suck if they sent it this week, because that means I wouldn't be there. That means I'd have to bring my laptop with me to Detroit when I go see family. Do we know where Blue encapsulates payloads? I'm going to guess that it's probably in one of those big freaking buildings that they built at KSC, at the KSCVC. That second stage is gigantic. 7 meters by about 20. It's the biggest upper stage basically since a Saturn V third stage. And if you count Starship as an upper stage, yeah, Starship is the only thing that's bigger. Ever. Now, you know, here. Let me show you. New Glenn is a pretty stout rocket. It's pretty big. This is a little bit of an older picture, but still does it justice for the most part. The New Glenn 2-stage thing never happened. They extended the 3rd stage and made the 3-stage New Glenn the two-stage variant. So this right here, this one, is about how tall New Glenn is. You have a 7-meter fairing, and she's almost as tall as a Saturn V. It is, like I said, it's a big rocket. It is as tall as SLS Block 1B. Not nearly as powerful, though. Solid rocket boosters. And this is BFR from IAC 2017. Starship, in its current stack configuration, is probably up here somewhere. But there's Falcon Heavy and Falcon 9. Like, as you can see, this is a big, big, big rocket. This is not a small vehicle. Now, I know people are going to say, it's not a Starship. But yeah, you're right. But, you know, more rockets, more better, as Jack would say. That's absolutely 100% true. This thing is a monster. It is a crazy vehicle. It is like absolutely gigantic for a first attempt at an orbital vehicle, and just for an orbital vehicle at all. Mr. Yak. That's right. It's a biggin. It's not it's almost as big as a Saturn V. It's pretty close. Crazy how Blue Origin went from Shepard to New Glenn, but no in between. That's what happens when you got deep pockets, man. So will they be able to compete with SpaceX? Yeah. Sure. New Glenn is built because Amazon wants to work on a web internet satellite constellation, just like Starlink. They call it Project Kuiper. Yeah, they're working on it right now, and they're going to need a lot of rocket launches. So once again, high cadence rocket launching to build a satellite constellation favors reusability. So yes, this rocket is going to launch, and it's going to launch a lot. It's going to take a little bit for it to ramp up to Falcon 9 levels of cadence, but it will get there eventually. It'll get there. Woo, more things to mess up telescopes. I mean, yeah, if you want to look at it like that, sure. They were forced to use Falcon for some launches by their investors. Yeah, that's true. EJ, is there a chance Starship pushes to Tuesday due to winds? They look concerning on Monday. Haven't looked, Space, to be honest with you. I haven't looked, to be sure, but let me jump through the rest of this. Speaking of new stuff, here, take a look. Stoke Space rolled this out the other day. They have an engine section for their new rocket that they're building, and then they have the engine for it right there. This is another full flow stage combustion cycle here, that engine that Stoke is working on this time. Yeah, independent power heads right there. That's pretty good. Still very much, there's a lot of developmental stuff on here, but still pretty dang good. Why the twin power heads? Well, with a full flow stage combustion cycle, depending on what the propellant is that you're using, you're going to need impellers that are not on the same shaft. The reason why is because of the propellants. There are some cases where you can get the flow rate similar, like a Merlin engine using RP1 and liquid oxygen, has a single power head with a gas generator, and then you have two fluid impellers stacked on top of each other. One of them is for fuel, one of them is for oxidizer. The reason why is because to deliver at the right mixture of fuel to oxygen, they can be on one shaft with a different impeller diameter. Depending on the propellants that you're using, and how different the impeller flow rate is, you might need two. Not by might, you do. If you're using hydrogen or liquefied natural gas or methane, you need two. Because even if you had them both on one shaft with different impellers, with different impeller diameters, that's still not enough to get the right mixture feeds that you need to sustain the combustion. I mean, that it's a little more complicated than that, guys, but that's the gist of it. So why two power heads? Methane. Methane. Can't believe they developed that in 18 months. Yeah, it is. Ariel, this is very, very much developmental. There's a lot of developmental stuff on this. I can tell you that this is a very early iteration just by how all the wires are placed. Remember when Raptor 1s first came around, they looked like a damn Christmas tree? That was because of all the developmental instrumentation on there. Like all the sensors. You put a lot of sensors on things when you, like the first time you build them because you want to get good diagnostics on it. And then as you fire it more and more and more and more and more, you need less sensors. You switch from a developmental sensor to what's called an operational sensor, or an operational flight instrumentation, or OFI sensor. Like, don't get me wrong, everybody calls them different things. So how does Raptor 3 do it? Rapid prototyping allows SpaceX to iterate on the design very, very quickly. They basically minimize the amount of operational sensors in the design. They also started clearing ground at LC-14. I did see that picture, Phil, even though I don't have it. But why is there a giant piston head in the background? That is the thrust structure that this thing is going to go into. It's going to basically be in this engine compartment. It does look like a piston. That's the spot for the wrist pin, huh? It looks like a freaking piston. I didn't even notice that. That's the engine structure for this motor. This motor will mount in there eventually. Pretty cool. I can't unsee it now either. Yeah, it looks like you got your oil ring and your two compression rings right there. It's ridiculous, man. But yeah, that's Stoke. Stoke is working on building a fully reusable two-stage rocket. Medium-duty two-stage rocket. Their second stage. So Stoke's second stage. Yeah, see here, there's more prototyping. That's their second stage engine. This thing that looks like a Frisbee upside down. Yeah, that's the second stage engine. Their engine and heat shield are built into one thing on their second stage because their second stage is shaped like a capsule. Yep. Yep, that is a second stage engine for Stoke. I mean, that's a developmental one, but that's the idea. I'm trying to see if I can find a picture of their rocket. You'd figure there would be. Yeah, there we go. That's what they're building right there. No, like I said, note that their second stage is shaped like a capsule with a fairing on the top. And then the engine section is from this first stage right here. That piston head is this piece down here. Pretty cool, huh? It's a medium duty rocket, so it's not like, it's basically, think like reusable Antares almost. So it's not a terribly high payload capacity for Stoke's rocket, for Nova. I believe is what they're calling it. I'm pretty sure it says that right there on the side. Yeah, this another fully reusable vehicle to make, which is pretty cool. How many engines? I do believe they have 6 in the first stage and then 1 in the second stage. Yeah. They only started going for full reuse on the first vehicle. Something like that, Sasquatch. Their heat shield is built into the regenerative cooling system on their engines. Seriously, it's really, really cool. Really cool stuff. They run propellants through the heat shield on the second stage. That's why their second stage engine looks like a heat shield. See, this has cooling channels behind it. So when the thing goes to re-enter, what they'll start doing is running propellants through here. They'll run propellants through here and then they get dumped overboard. Yeah, really cool. And then to start the engine, right, all you have to do is run more propellants through here and it works like an expander cycle. It's an expander cycle, utilize it with a nozzle that's shaped like a heat shield. Really, really, really cool stuff. Very original idea. When do you play Starbase Sim? I don't know. Do you think we'll see a Falcon 9 in the future based on Raptor design since it can lower its thrust better than the Merlin and is more efficient? No. SpaceX is all in on Starship, Graham. They're not introducing that radical of an upgrade this late into Falcon 9. Falcon 9's life cycle doesn't make any sense. What makes sense is to, from here with Falcon 9, from a developmental standpoint with SpaceX, and what I mean, what makes sense, I mean that this is what they're doing. You're not going to try to change the hardware. You're going to take the hardware that you have with Falcon 9 and try to find ways to make it fly more. Right? Changing your engine is not changing your engine at this phase of a vehicle's development. Basically, when you're well into what's called your operational life cycle here, changing the engines at this point would really would go against doing that. That's not what you want to do. But I don't know. Maybe if somebody paid enough money for them to do it, they would, but they're not going to do it by themselves. Jay, you sent some other news. Yeah, okay. I got a lot on my plate here. We'll see. Would a round capsule with a heat shield that is spinning cool down more when going down? No. Spinning? Why would spinning make a difference? It is a good trick, though, but I don't understand. Yeah, they're gonna go all in. So, like, excuse me. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna mute the mic. I'm cleaning out all the gunk from being sick. I don't know if you could probably hear it. All right. Well, anyway, that's what's going on with Stoke. Good stuff. Good stuff. They seem to be pretty far. Oh, that's long format news. We'll put that over there. So, here, this space news, the Space and Rocket Review wouldn't be without, eating a poop sandwich here. So, here's your poop sandwich, sir. So, this is coming from Joy Roulette at Reuters. NASA's JPL is doing another round of layoffs tomorrow. This time, cutting 5% of its workforce, around 325 employees, according to a center-wide email sent today by JPL chief Lori Leshin. We need to make one further workforce reduction to meet the available funding for fiscal year 2025. Yeah, hopefully with a new session of Congress, this frankly atrocious NASA policy over the last 2 years stops. Do you know how bad funding has to be to get laid off from a public sector job? You know how bad that is? That's not good. Frankly, idiotic policy has gotten us to this point. Yeah. Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, Reaver, remember I talked about that brain drain and how that's really dangerous for NASA, right? Because, if everybody's leaving in droves and you're not attracting new young talent because your spaceflight policy is... I can't say it. It's going to be, my blip button isn't working. It is awful. It could be really bad in the future. That's what I'm trying to say. My beeper button is not working. Is dog poop. I keep it classy during the day, Zambo, but yes. Yeah, my stream deck is acting up. I gotta fix that. You talked about it a year or so about the brain drain when the shuttle ended and how that affected NASA's progress in the long term. Yeah, it's a really stupid idea. Yeah, like I said, frankly, idiotic policy. It's pretty bad, dude. My stream deck profile is gone. Oh, that's good. Nice. Really interested to know how that got deleted, but all right. Okay, cool. Sweet. So, yeah, before we focus too much on the bad news, I believe that this will change with the next session of Congress. I think it will. Yeah, this is getting bad. It's really stupid. Anyway, good news. The X-59 fires up its engine for the first time on its way to takeoff. Check it out, man. The X-59 is the Quiet SST, or Quiet Supersonic Transport Experimental Plane. The plane is basically looks like a flying duckbill platypus, but the reason why it looks like that is so it sorry. The reason why it looks like that is because it's designed to basically cut through and quiet out, basically make a very low audible sonic boom. It's basically designed to cut through the sound waves and deflect the sonic boom upward instead of downward, which is actually super cool. It fired up its engine for the first time, and what NASA is going to do with the X-59 is fly it at supersonic speeds around the United States and, well, listen. This technology in the future could lead to supersonic transport planes that are designed to not make sonic booms, at least not ones that are audible to us down on the surface. Where do they test this? This is at Palmdale, Def, if I'm remembering right. The X-59 is a Skunk Works plane. Yep. Looks like they stuck the end of an F-16 on it. It does use off-the-shelf parts from other planes. If I recall correctly, it's like a T-38 cockpit with like F-18 landing gear, maybe F-16 landing gear. It's parts binned, which is really, really cool, actually. Yeah. So that's good news. That's good. That's good that they're working on the dude. Look at this thing. The X-59 is a looker. It's one of those planes that just looks really like the first time you look at it here. And this is the first time some of you might be looking at it. First time you look at it, you're like, man, that plane's ugly. But it grows on you for whatever reason. Dude, it's a looker. It's a nice looking plane, man. Do we still have a pilot for it? Yeah, of course we do. What is the gigantic generator beside it? Bleed air, maybe. Ground power? It's a big generator. Okay, cool. I don't know if it's a start cart. It didn't look like it had the right stuff. Ground power and bleed air. Oh, okay. Cool. It's like a Dash 60. Thank you, Pythos. I knew you would know what that is, which is why I just went back to the picture. And then there's a couple of airplane jacks sitting out there. Keeps the electronics cool. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, but like I said, the X-59 is a looker, dude. Once again, the first time you look at it, it's very peculiar looking with its long nose. But it knows what's good. God, I've been hanging around with Sawyer too much. It's a cool looking plane. Like I said, this thing is designed to deflect the sonic boom upwards. Would you just look at it? Would you just look at it? Would you just look at it? Just look at it. No, it's pretty cool. It's the first X-plane that NASA has actually built in a long time. I hate it. They put an A-10 ejector seat in your F-22. What? EJ, what do you feel about round 2 of NASA contracts for commercial space stations? I think it needs to be funded correctly, or else we're going to have no space stations. How long will it be until Starship Flight 7 following Flight 6, Finn? I'd say at least a month at the very least, and that's being optimistic. New licensing. The reason why we didn't have a long amount of time between Flight 5 and Flight 6 is because they used the same launch license. Yeah. So, yeah. Look at this funny plane. Did somebody like crap post this on Reddit or on X or on Instagram or something? Because all of a sudden, kind of out of the blue, everybody wants me to see the F-22 developmental test plane. This 757 that they basically put an F-22's nose on. Like, dude, like, I can see the patterns. I know when like a big account posts a picture of something, like you guys all start linking it all at once. Did somebody post this like a lot? Because yeah, this Boeing was testing stuff for they were testing the F-22 parts. So they put an F-22 nose on a 757 and it looks ridiculous. The X-59 engine is a GE F-414, which is from an F-18. Yep, there you go. Yeah, I saw an X-37 in there. I only recently found out about this, but do you know anything about Axiom Space having serious cash flow issues? Yeah. Yeah, I did hear about that. Suffredini stepped down. Mike Suffredini. He ran the ISS program for NASA for a little while, and I believe he's been to space. I think. Maybe he hasn't. Anyway, yeah. Axiom is having trouble because they tried to scale to build space stations and spacesuits at the same time. Yeah, tried to do a lot with not a lot and burned through a lot of cash. Stuff hasn't been to space. Yeah, he's an engineer. A lot of people at Axiom are ex-astronauts too. That's where my brain went for a second, Simba. Sorry about that. A new Littoral combat ship is being commissioned at the Charlestown Navy Yard this weekend. New Navy warship USS Nantucket to be commissioned in Boston. Really? This article was posted recently. Oh, the war zone. Yeah, okay. Why are we still making these? Honest question. Have you seen China's new space plane? Nah, I don't care, Conan. I don't cover Chinese space programs here. You probably want to look to NSF for something like that. I don't care. Because contracts. Yeah. They also hired way more workers. They tried to scale because they tried to diversify before they had a minimum viable product. That's not how you company. Graham. Because they look cool. I don't even think that's the coolest looking Littoral. I think the Independence class is that is a cool looking ship. It's kind of a piece of junk, but it is a cool looking ship. Is that a littoral ship? Yes, yes. Yeah, the trimarans are super cool looking, but their problem is they're kind of useless. Yeah, that one breaks more. That's what the Nantucket is. It's one of those things. Oh, look at that. A Freedom class that will blow its engine when it goes full speed. Yeah. Yeah, these things are not the best designs from what I understand. But then again, I know nothing about these things. They really just build more Arleys and some Waltz. I think, why do you need this? It's supposed to, okay, so it's supposed to operate in the littoral zone. So it's supposed to be low draft, right? It's supposed to be not have a not go below the water a lot, right? Dude, just get a Zimwalt. Just get a Zimwalt. Or an Arleigh Burke. Just... Are they built by Bechtel? I think Lockheed Martin, dude. Yeah, just build more Zimwalts and just missile spam stuff, please. I mean, they're nice looking ships for sure, but yeah. It'll be commissioned. Navy will commission the future USS Nantucket LCS 27 November 16 at the Charlestown Navy Yard. That's cool. That's pretty neat, dude. It's a Zimwalt with 1 million apiece shells. Yeah. You know what, Funky Bot? They might be 1 million apiece, but they work. Question. You know what's really good in the littoral zones? You know what's really good at that? One of those. Those are really good in littorals. That's why we made them. Yeah. Yeah, I like those. I like heavy cruisers. Heavy cruisers are cool, man. Underrated. If I remember right, they made them out of an aluminum alloy, but they forgot aluminum degrades pretty quickly, and they had to go back into dry dock after a year for heavy maintenance. They made... Cody, what? Please tell me he's wrong, somebody. They made a naval fighting vessel out of aluminum. Okay. The LCSs are made out of aluminum? What? Oh, what? But something about fatigue fracturing. Yeah. You know, aluminum is really bad under high fatigue scenarios. You can ask anybody that knows anything about planes. What do ships do? They go through these things. They go out in these big blue things. They're called an ocean, and those big blue things have waves, and the waves make the ship go up and down. Who thought this was a good idea? Oh, what are we doing, man? What? The waves? Come on, I'm an idiot and I know this. The waves, man. It goes up and down to make the ship bend. I'm sure they expected this alloy to not have issues. Waves, John. The ship, it goes up and down. It bends things. Oh. It bends. It makes the bend. It makes the thing go to the bend and the do. So, if they didn't expect this alloy to happen, why build 27 of these? Why build 27? Why not build one and then test it a lot and make sure that this doesn't happen? Unless that's what they did, in which case this makes a lot of sense. Why? They made that whole thing? You're telling me that whole thing is made out of aluminum? The Navy is decommissioning littoral combat ships faster than they are building them. Will this make this prone to the front falling off? Yes. Yes, they've had to remove multiple ships from the environment. They built a lot and then found out the problem. Don't blame you, you're an HY80 guy. Yeah, we know, but the ship goes through the waves, and the waves make the thing go up and down. Like, it doesn't matter what alloy of aluminum you use. The aluminum cracks, it doesn't bend, it cracks. Next thing you know, we're going to be making submarines out of carbon fiber. Oh. Anyway, next news. Too soon. People died. That's messed up. Oh, you did it, didn't you? Not too soon. Oh my God. Dude, I don't know. Somebody's a pretty damn good snake oil salesman to sell the Navy an aluminum ship. Have the lady friend take you to the UP and check out Marionette Marine? My wife? I mean, the UP's kind of a little bit of a drive, dude. It takes a little while to get up there. Source. Driven over the Mackinac Bridge. Yeah, okay, all right. I just need to see, just as you know, like, you thought the JPL news was bad. Let's just see what's the unit price on one of these things? Look at that, retired 5. Oh my God. Oh my God. Isotta Fraschini, you put Italian engines in your boat? No comment. No comment. Hey, they can make 47 knots. That's pretty fast. $362 million. Okay. Actually, if I saw that right, that's your power systems. They're your power generators. You have 4 800 kilowatt generators. Your main propulsion is marine gas turbines. The Italian lobby is 2 doors down from the aluminum lobby. They use water jets? They're jet skis? Well, yeah, I mean, that makes sense because of the low draft, right? That makes sense. Those are probably big freaking jet ski engines. It freaking is aluminum. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What? I can't believe this picture is public. I mean, there was this aluminum boat. Yeah. Because fast was the point. What else are we going to do with recycled soda cans? At least it won't rust. No, it'll corrode. Yeah. I can't believe... Dude. I have no words. Maybe they wanted China to copy it. Look up Pavati. They're making aluminum wakeboard boats, and they're awesome. Yeah, okay. Yeah, You freaking made the thing out of aluminum. Like, what the hell? Just... What? Why? Like... I don't know. I don't know. I understand it, but maybe we should have, you know, spec more points into understanding what this does before we made a bunch of them. The hull design evolved from a project from Ostal to design a high-speed 40-knot cruise ship. Yep. Something happened with one of those ships? Yeah, something did happen. We're still making them. They're 360 million a pop, dude. Like, you know, here's where I'm at. It's not a bad idea. It really isn't. I'm thinking about it. It's not a bad idea. You know, something that can get up close to a beach and shell targets. I mean, once again, heavy cruisers did that for a long time. Those are pretty useful. Just saying. Something that, you know, can kind of get up and support amphibious vessels and stuff, like landing craft and whatnot. Not a bad idea. Once again, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. A battle cruiser or a heavy cruiser can do that, and, you know, just get some 8-inch gun batteries or something, or just make a ship that just has a bunch of Abrams cannons on it or something, or just a bunch of 155s. Just probably be cheaper. Army already makes a lot of those, or buys a lot of those. Probably be good, you know, at that. But I mean, I get why you would make something like this. I get it. It makes sense. But once again, just why not just? I don't understand the need. Like, it's a nice capability, but also just missile spam. Silence, military! A Hearts of Iron 4 player is speaking. That's right. I'm no imaginary general. I'm an armchair general. All right. Fun fact, somebody on an aircraft carrier ordered an M1 Abrams tank turret and it arrived. Actually, dude got chewed out by the captain. You know that somebody's screwing around, be like, yo, I can order an Abrams cannon. I'm going to do that. And then it showed up. Oops. You'd probably like sea power. I don't know, maybe. Why? It's just an honest question. Why build this when you could just build a heavy cruiser? A heavy cruiser, something like an Atlanta, that does the exact same thing that these littoral ships do. It's designed to do the same damn thing. You can't make it. You telling me with modern tech you couldn't make an Atlanta go 50 knots? Absolutely. Like, that's ridiculous. Of course we could. They have the Iowa. Well, the Iowa is not. That's not designed to fight in the littoral, though. Like these are basically these things are basically supposed to be the A-10 of combat ships. Get up close and support infantry, amphibious infantry, from what I understand, right? Like, why? What the heck is that thing? Nice, Sea Kraken. Jeez. Like, why make this? Why just, dude, just make in Atlanta. Just make in Atlanta. We already did, like, and just have it fire tank shells. Like, we already have a bunch of these. Oh, that's cool, Pythos. Yeah, Gibbons was playing. Mr. Gibbons rated us a little bit earlier. He was playing Sea Power, and he said it's good, but it's not 40 pounds good. He said it's not early access. The price point is a little high for what it is. And A-10 would cut that boat in half, Willie. Can you imagine? It's freaking aluminum. I don't care how thick it is, dude. A good shell will just blow a hole right through that boat. Why are our close-in fighting ships? These ships are designed to operate in the littoral. So what? Okay, so what? You know, people say littoral. You think I'm saying literal? No, we're not reading about it. I mean, we kind of are, but littoral is basically up close to the beach. It's about as close as you can get to being on land without being on land. That's where these ships are designed to operate. So these ships are going to get shot at in an amphibious assault. Why are we making things that are going to get shot at a lot out of aluminum? The A-10 is a close air support plane. Yes, a lot of it's made out of aluminum, but a lot of it is made out of aluminum, but a lot of it isn't made out of aluminum either. For this exact reason. Like, what? Dude, if that ship catches on fire, it will go up like a tinderbox. The Freedom class has a steel hull and an aluminum superstructure. Well, 155 ethereal is what I'm talking about. Why would you do anything aluminum on a ship? Aluminum is flammable. It's flammable. It is flammable. You know how I know? They put it in solid rocket boosters as a explosion stabilizer. It makes stuff blow up really, really good. It's great solid rocket fuel. Why would someone do this? Why would we think this is a good idea? Yeah, thermite. Exactly, Skeleton. That's what I'm saying. Aluminum is flammable. In the right conditions, that the entire ship will go up like a powder keg. EJ, catch up on current events. All enemies in the near future will be using super soft aluminum rounds and shells. The Bradley is aluminum. That does not help a contrarian opinion, Hellfish. What? Aircraft carriers have aluminum structure because it's light. Because we like to waste money. I mean, ARJ, that's the byproduct of it. I'm just really wondering what the design decision here is. Speed? Oh, great. Great. Speed's really going to make a difference when your damn ship is on fire. There are a lot of reasons the LCSs are being junked, them being aluminum is not one. But you're the one that started this conversation, Hellfish, saying that they're junk because the aluminum is cracking. So pick one. Pick one. Pick one. You know, I know. Logic is difficult. I'm a streamer. I have trouble with it sometimes. Can't hit it if you can't track it. I mean, spoken like a true submariner, John. I pick both. Yeah, I know you do, chat. Nobody said Congress knew what it was doing. I don't know. Anyway, back to space news. Let's go. So, Sierra Space. Our team has successfully completed the PDR for the missile warning and tracking satellites being developed for the Semper Citadis Space Development Agency. Nice. Under prime contract valued at 740 million. Dude, Sierra's making money. All right, make more Dream Chasers, please, now. Like, make more of them. Interesting. PDR for the missile warning and tracking satellites. Nice. Maybe steel is having a shortage. After all, Bechtel can't finish an ML on time. Elon will make a Littoral Starship. You know what the messed up part is, BA? Starship is more bulletproof than one of those damn ships. Stainless steel. Yeah, more bulletproof. Yeah, okay. It's probably not because it's pressurized, but also stainless. Stainless, baby. Stainless. The messed up part is Elon would actually make it work. Yeah. We should commission Elon for our military needs. He's already made the Cybertruck. Graham, look up Starshield. Yeah, that's already being done. Don't worry. Exactly, it's made out of steel. So that's cool. Sierra Space got $750 million contract for a prime contract for missile warning and tracking. That's super cool. That's good for commercial space. Firefly. This next bit's coming from Firefly. As we get ready to land on the moon, Firefly just landed. Ha ha ha. 175 million in Series D capital in less than 2 months. Hey, all right. It sounds like the dude that they got as the CEO over there is doing some good work. Sounds like proliferated LEO and MEO missile warning. It's a cool concept. I agree, Def. Yeah, absolutely. Instead of having a few big boys in GEO, fill up LEO so you have less points of failure. Better geolocation, higher fidelity. Back in the day, the concept was called SIBRs. SIBRs low. Ah, yeah. SDA procured close to 10 billion worth of satellites in the last 4 years. Phil, you remember when Space Policy Directive 1 came out and the Space Force got established, and I had to sit here and explain for weeks why it's a good idea because it ends up being billions of dollars more for the commercial space sector? Remember when I said that in 2018? That was a good time. $2 billion evaluation for Firefly, Pete. Hey, all right. All right. Acquisitions is probably 75% of the Space Force's budget. You know who came up with the Space Development Agency? Mike Griffin. Mike Griffin! Oh, that's weird. Jeez. We like that guy. That guy's pretty cool. Yeah, that guy is that shit. Ain't that a thing? That really gets the noggin jogging, doesn't it? Yeah, that's right, David. I agree, Pandaroo. Yep. I said it was a good idea then. I still think it's a good idea. Did you notice that Rocket Lab stock is up over 200% in the last few months? I did. They had their earnings meeting today, actually. If we want to keep talking about that, that was actually the next thing teed up on the list. Hang on one second. I want to get to one part that's pertinent to the subject matter. Oh, look, there's your boy. There he is. Mike Griffin completes term as Rocket Lab board member. He completes his tenure on Rocket Lab's board of directors after 4 years serving the company. That guy right there would be my top pick. Actually, my second pick for NASA administrator behind Jim. Yeah. Bring Mike back. He was a NASA administrator before. He was the NASA administrator during Bush's second term, Bush Jr.'s second term. Mike Griffin's not a moron, first and foremost. Not to say that other NASA administrators are or aren't. All right. He oversaw the vision for space exploration, implemented the Constellation program, and also got the shuttle returned to flight and running on an operational schedule, on a punctual operational schedule, and finished space station construction in less than 4 years. He did all that in 4 years. Yeah, Graham, the first part is the most important one. Mike knows how to run NASA. Like I said, he knows how to make integrated spaceflight architecture, like Constellation, and he knows how to run a space program. Like, Griffin thinks commercial space flight with Artemis is bad, doesn't he? Yes, he does, Ben. And you know what? I'm saying this as a SpaceX fanboy. I agree with him. I know that's going to be an unpopular opinion. I agree with him. Reason why I think the U.S. needs it works off of basically one big, my big point here is that NASA needs to have their own space program that's not SpaceX. If we put all of our eggs in the SpaceX basket and you make your entire spaceflight end-to-end architecture from Earth to Mars beholden to one commercial contractor, if something happens, God forbid, I would never want anything bad to happen to SpaceX or anything like that, then your entire space program is screwed. Screwed royally. Not very sustainable in the long run. And don't think it couldn't happen. It could. It's happened in the past. We did have Ares 1X under Constellation. Ares 1 is a good design, Pandrew. I'm sick of people pretending that it isn't. I don't care if you think it looks stupid. It's a great design and a great rocket. And not only that, Ares 1 would help tank the costs of a super heavy launch vehicle, because Ares 1 would pay for the development of your upper stage engine propulsion and your first stage engine propulsion for a shuttle-derived launch vehicle in the future. Ares 1 was supposed to pioneer 5-segment boosters and pioneer J2X propulsion development. Then, when it came time to build Ares 5, your boosters are already engineered and your upper stage engine is already engineered. And you just carry it over. Genius spaceflight architecture. Really smart. Almost like we did that during the Apollo program. Saturn 1 led to Saturn 5. Weird how that works, right? Mike, like, this isn't a rant about Constellation. Mike is the guy that oversaw that. He was very smart to put that all together like that. SRBX is not better, Ben. Go away. Now, what am I hoping? Just what am I hoping if he gets brought back as a NASA administrator? I mean, he did step down from Rocket Lab. Just saying. Even though that was a couple of months ago, from what I understand. I would want Mike to... Hey, look, developing Ares 1 at this point really doesn't make any sense. To be honest with you, developing an Ares 1 doesn't make sense. That ship sailed already. What I would want is a way for Orion to get into low Earth orbit and take people off of SLS and use SLS for cargo if needed, and use that to build transfer vehicles in low Earth orbit. Use SLS to do that, to build gigantic transfer vehicles, and use a low Earth orbit access vehicle, a commercial low Earth orbit access vehicle with Orion to build bigger vehicles in low Earth orbit and use that as a transfer vehicle to Mars. And then have Starship resupply that style of architecture. That's what I would want. Starship would be supplemental to the mainline architecture. I think that's more sustainable in the long run, guys. And I know it's hard to say because Starship's going to be the end-all be-all. And if it does even like half of what Elon wants it to do, it'll still be like the best rocket ever designed ever. Did they ever figure out how to fix the vibration issues with Ares 1? They were working on a fix to that problem before it before they canned the program. Yeah, they were working on building a damper into the inner stage. Derive a shuttle-derived launch vehicle using 1 or 2 RS-25s and smaller SRBs. Have a SLS Mini. I wouldn't do that. I would use New Glenn. I would put Orion on New Glenn if it was me, and have New Glenn be basically fill the void where Ares 1 should have been, and then develop a lander for SLS, a better upper stage engine, and a 10-meter fairing, and then basically build out Constellation from there. Vulcan could work too. I'd prefer New Glenn's. New Glenn's could dump an Orion into Leo with a full tank of gas. Vulcan, probably you'd need to fire Orion's SPS. Have you seen the Chinese Starship yet? No, Graham, I don't care about the Chinese space program on this stream. NSF would probably have news regarding that. I don't, yeah, no. I don't really like a space program that sends rockets up and the rockets come down and fall on people and kill them. They got a word for that. It's called missile. We don't do missiles here. Even though I know a good bit about missiles. I mean, you want to talk Titan, Atlas, Atlas D, Atlas E. Yeah, I know a lot about those, but no, we don't cover that. They got a word for that. It's called missiles. And we don't, yeah, we do the civilian space flight here. Did you hear that Chad said on Tuesday it had approved the licensing of Elon Musk's satellite internet provider Starlink to improve access to internet service in the Central African country? No, Gujar, but that's cool. What is that tweet that you guys... What is this? Something's wrong with this chart. I can't quite figure it out. Elon just forgot how to read? No, he didn't. He's making a joke, dude. Jesus Christ. The chart is scaled to make it look like SpaceX, like Electron is in competition with SpaceX. But if you look over here, it says parentheses 109. If you were looking at this graph with the end of the graph being at 109, none of this stuff would be legible. It'd be so small. They made this look like Rocket Lab is competitive with SpaceX, which is pretty funny. Hey, how you, Jake? An SLS launch crew and an expendable lander in one shot. With a Block 1B, RJ, it's possible. I fully agree with you, but why can't that redundant option B be Rocket Lab or ULA or Northrop Grumman or anything but another government agency? I think SpaceX is matured enough for the commercial market to take over. Just have the... That's a good question, dude. Just have NASA operate the vehicles and have the commercial contractors build them for you. That's what we did during the Saturn V. NASA didn't build the Saturn V. Boeing, Douglas, and Grumman built the Saturn V. With Rocketdyne and Aerojet working on the motors, you know, and TRW for what that's worth. For what it's worth, I think we need to do that, and that coupled with commercial contracts for like resupply services will be the most sustainable way forward. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat this. There is a Achilles heel to this argument. The Achilles heel is that that's the most expensive way to do things. It's going to be expensive. Can you put a price on space exploration? I mean, you can, but I don't think that's a good idea. Unless you want to see just, you know, but NASA without any long-term goals, right, doesn't really get you anywhere. And then if we don't have a nice, healthy in-house space program and then the commercial space sector supplementing it, we're going to wind up with nothing. you have the potential for winding up with nothing. Because if you gut your national space program and then just rely on the commercial markets, well, if there's a recession, most of commercial goes bye-bye. How do I know? This happened in the 90s. It happened in the 90s. It's the reason why ULA exists. Well, that and corporate espionage, but that's another story. Yeah, that's not a good way forward, man. It's not a good way forward, but it's also not the cheapest way either. But you get what you pay for with spaceflight. I don't care what anybody says. Seriously, you get what you pay for. You want to design a rocket that goes to the moon? Good. $30 billion in 10 years. Doesn't matter if it's Starship. Doesn't matter if it's SLS. Where you go after that $30 billion in 10 years, well, that depends on what you're making. But you want to make a rocket that's capable of moving people to the surface of the moon? $30 billion, about a decade. Look at the Apollo program. Follows that. The N1 follows that pretty dang well, except it didn't work, but you get the idea. Starship follows that same idea. SLS, same thing. And SLS was flat funded. That was the worst way of funding that project, but whatever. You get what you pay for. The key is what you do with it after, right? Now, I talked about this on Flame Trench 2 weeks ago. I said that SLS is not expensive. I really don't think it's expensive. I don't think it's expensive. And I know the people are going to say, oh, come on, EJ. You know, Starship could be $1 million per launch. Yeah, it could be, but it's not right now. No. Starship's probably carrying a similar price tag to SLS right now in terms of launch and operations. Yeah, probably a couple $1 billion a launch. Easily. That's what I mean about what you do. Starship is designed to fly a lot. So you're going to get your return on investment very quickly because you fly it a lot. SLS is not. And I think that's where people's pain points are with SLS. It doesn't freaking do anything. If SLS was launching 4 times a year and we had people back on the moon, would anyone give a frick how much it costs? Probably not. Nope. It's not the rocket. It's the mission. The mission is the problem. That's the problem. That's the whole thing. The mission is the problem, not the rocket. The rocket's fine. It works great, actually. It's a really good system. Like, screw me for saying that. I mean, it's a really good system because you use shuttle parts, right? A little bit of an expensive way to do things, but you go with what you know. I knew people would say that, Coltech, so I purposely explained it without saying compared to what this time. They spent over $14.2 billion, so $1.4 million a day for the Starship program. Yeah, that's per some of SpaceX's environmental filings. Yes, Graham, that's what I mean. It's always going to be expensive. You get what you pay for with spaceflight. I'm sorry, you do. Unless we invent some type of light speed drive or something, this is always going to ring true. You want to break into the spaceflight industry? You want to make a rocket that can get you to the moon? Good. $10 billion $30 billion in about 10 years. That's the trend, man. Like, looking at empirical data here. My argument has always been I need SLS to fly more. If it flies more, the price is going to go down. And if it flies more, part 2 of that is nobody will give a frick about how expensive it is because there's people on the moon. Because it did what it was designed to do. It's kind of important. What is the next breakthrough in rocket engine tech new drives? 2 things supersonic ring true in my mind. One of them is rotating detonation engines, and the other one is hired. What the hell is that picture? Rotating detonation engines and nuclear thermal. Was lunar architecture to stay on or around the moon also in the cost of SLS, or is it separate? That part wasn't even funded when SLS came on the books or Oridon. Don't ever show me that picture ever again, Hired. You think Orion will turn into the next SST for the moon? SST? So I like launching Orion on New Glenn, but for Mars transfer vehicle assembly, why don't we launch Orion to Leo on SLS with the HAB module of the transfer vehicle? You could do it that way if you want. Or you could take it out of the loop and use your super heavy launch vehicle's payload capacity to the most. Why send people on it? What's the time frame? The only reason why the Saturn V had people and the lander on it was because they had a deadline. Get it done by 1970. That was the quickest way to do it. It's not necessarily the smartest architecture. Oh, STS Trank. Oh, yeah. Do I think it'll be the next space shuttle for the moon? No. Orion's not really supposed to do that. I think Starship would be a lot better in that regard. So you want to stop flying crew on SLS and you want SLS to fly more. That seems counterintuitive. Fly it more. No, that's not what I said, RJ. I said you could launch. I said work on the cargo fairing and make it so you could do either. If you do either of those things, be able to put a universal stage adapter and Orion on top or a 10-meter cargo fairing, you get a vehicle that initially is good at exploring the moon. And then you get a vehicle that you can immediately pivot over into building transfer vehicles in low Earth orbit. That affords you the flexibility of doing EOR or LOR. EOR would be better for Martian architecture. LOR would be better for lunar. Would you go to the moon? Yes. No later than time frame. You need solid deadlines, dude. That's important. One way? No. The only way I would go to the moon or Mars is if I had a way back. One-way trips are for lemmings. That's not space flight. That's a suicide mission. Somebody in your launch center is near the dial. They just touched it. Well, tell them to stop. Donner Space Program. Yuck. Lemmings are colonists. Colonists are on a one-way trip willingly. That doesn't mean that they don't have a way home. The Pilgrims could have gotten back on the Mayflower and sailed back to England if they want to. In fact, they did later, but not all of them. But you get the idea. You wouldn't want to help establish the first cemetery on Mars? Ah, Jim, people would just be dying to get in there. Trying to look through, see if there's any other gems in here. Vicegrip uploaded a 3-hour episode of this CRX. Dude, I love CRX's sequels. I'll be dipped. Is it safe to say that Orion is poop and needs more work? Flying it more is not going to make it work worse, good fella. Let me put it that way. Look at the pad hardware on that Neutron thing. Okay, let me see. Pages 11 through 24. Neutron is open for business. Okay, let's see it then. Fan it out. Show it to me. There's... Okay, it's prototype fairing right there. Oh, sick. Neutron second stage test stand. Yep, there we go. We got some first stage propellant tanks. Very good. Archimedes engine testing. Yeah, we knew about that. Oh, hey, baby. Rocket Lab took a jab at SpaceX in a video saying, unlike our competitors, we have a good relationship with the FAA. Okay, launch stuff, then we'll talk. Hey, look, the reaction frame for Neutron right there. Sweet. Launch pad fabrication. Oh, this is the best, dude. Yes. Look at that freaking monster. Oh, it's chunky. I love it. Do you think Elon will go to Mars on a Starship? Maybe eventually. Maybe he'll retire there. Yeah, baby. I love this. This is sick, dude. Yep, they're working on the pad. Yep. Good. It looks like they got all the foundations poured. Now it's just put the damn thing together. It looks like they got pneumatics already set up. Fuel tanks already set up there. Their water tower is already set up. It doesn't go to anything. Pad is very preliminary, but there's your launch deck right there. Yep. See, there's your prop tank farm. Wait a minute. Hold up. Let me check something. Is the name of that crane company Digging and Rigging? Digging and Rigging Incorporated. All right. That's a pretty good name, dude. Yeah, Digging and Rigging. Let's go. That means excavation and hoisting. So cranes and bulldozers, man. Let's freaking go, dude. Cranes and bulldozers. I'm in. Sounds good to me, dude. Let me get my Tonka out. You know, I'm not even trying to be funny. That's super cool. That's a great name. Hell yeah. Guys will see this crane and go, hell yeah. You know, is it a Grove? It could be. Digging and Rigging. Awesome. I can't tell what type of crane it is. Lieber, maybe. Could be a big Grove crane. This looks a lot like the telescoping crane that SpaceX is using to build their OLM. That looks a lot like it. So it could be. It's hard to tell. I'd need to see the house and the cab. I'd be able to tell you what type it is from there. But yeah, good stuff. Yep. They're building Neutron. Yeah, there you go. Neutron's assembly, integration, and test facility. It is down the street from the launch pad. Yep. That's super cool. That's what I wanted to see, man. Look at these launch pad parts. Oh, this is killer. I love launch pad parts. Does the other pictures show it? Show the crane? Nah. The crane in that other picture was right here. It's long gone in this one. So they're still working on drainage. See these? This is drainage. Those are drainage prefabs. Not sure if you saw the Navy news. Is this about the USS Nantucket? Oh. Yeah, we'll check that out at the end, RJ. Yeah. Those are porta potties. Just in case anybody was, is not familiar with a construction site. That's where you poop. I don't know why I thought it pertinent to tell you that. It sounded funny in my head, and if I got a chuckle, well, that's great, but probably didn't. Yes, they are. Yeah, this is still super preliminary. There's a lot of rebar. See up here? Okay, so if you guys want to know a little bit about construction sites, particularly the application of launch sites, see all the rebar up there? That's all this lattice work right here. That lattice work takes time, and there being a lot of construction materials still being staged up there,
Discovery.
and over there tell me that they got a good ways to go. But this is still some pretty damn good progress. Like, if you look, they haven't poured the slab right here. They haven't poured that slab just yet. Actually, they may have poured that slab and they might be filling it. They're filling it in with gravel like they did over there. Here, look at the other picture. Yeah, see? They make the concrete slab to hold the tank, and then they backfill it with gravel. Okay. So that concrete pouring is all finished. that dude on the excavator right there is filling up this with gravel, and then they'll grade it with that skid steer right there, or that thing. Look at the pipe diameter on the water tower. Yeah, she's a big one. This is probably going to spread into a manifold, Deadbringer. It'll spread into a manifold, and the pipes will go to different parts of the pad. These could be part of the sound suppressor. It's possible, but they're most likely drainage. The reason why I can tell they're drainage over part of the sound suppressor is they have vent holes on them. Not something you want with your sound suppressor system, especially since it's going to be under pressure. This is the drainage for what happens after. That thing is a compactor right there. Is it impy? I couldn't tell. I didn't want to guess either. So this dirt pile right here is all the dirt that they dug up to make these foundations. They'll probably use this to grade somewhere else. Either that or they'll haul it away in that dump truck right there. Guy on the skid steer over there is working on irrigation. See, that's one of those culverts right there. Pretty cool. This is your pneumatics commodities area. That's fuel or oxidizer. And over here is fuel or oxidizer. It's either one. So, judging by the construction in this picture here, they still got a ways to go. This pad is probably about 30% done, I would say. Maybe 40. They still got a ways to go. Neutron in 2025? Possible. Possible. Probably fall. Probably about a year from now. Maybe. Judging by the progress here. Side note, since you like machinery so much, have you seen Farming Simulator? It looks pretty great. That doesn't scratch the itch the way you'd think it might. But anyway, Rocket Lab has had their earnings report here, and I did check this before stream, but check this out. You want to see something crazy? Whoa. That's pretty good. That's pretty cool, man. Yeah, that, if that doesn't say confidence in commercial space, I don't know what does. I mean, it's kind of everything else is not doing very well, but Rocket Lab's doing fine, you know. Intuitive taking a 5% bath is no good. That's not great. You love to see it. You very much like how Neutron is using the body of a rocket as a fairing. Yep. You made $94 off Rocket Lab, Billiam. All right. Dude, look at Tesla. Tesla's nuts, dude. I don't know, like... Ooh. Not great, but also... Tesla was trading it on June 6th when Starship, that was a Starship launch, it was trading at 177. It peaked at 350. Holy crap. Wow. That's absolutely bonkers. I don't have any Rocket Lab stock, Wisp, and I wouldn't buy it now. The time to buy was over here. That was the time to buy. If you bought 1,000 shares here at like 350 and you cashed out at 14, you just made a lot of money, dude. You put in 1,000 over here, you get 4,000 back over there. That's, you don't get that. Usually, kind of dividend is few and far between. That's pretty good, man. Sedated had a 7-month resub, and then Hotbox had a 43 months. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Oh yeah, there's yeah. I don't want to make this a total stop. Holy crap. What the frick, dude? That's nuts, dude. Wow. Somebody made some money. BitConnect! Woo! no! Oh my goodness. Overinflated? Yeah, probably. Probably. What's up? It connect! Whoa! No. That's a scam! Oh, jeez. Okay. What do we got here? This is from the Office of Investigator General. This is a 1-minute read. 2024 report on NASA's top management and performance challenges. In this year's report, we identified 3 key challenges for NASA. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I'm sure this is going to be good. Doge. All right, real quick. Oh, no. What the hell? How the... All right, sure. Dude, that's crazy. It was trading at 10 cents. Now it's at 40 cents. Oh my goodness. To the moon. Stonks, bro. Stonks. That's crazy. Did Ethereum go? All right, I'll look. EJ's Crypto and Rocket Review. Yeah, Ethereum did bounce, but it's not as much as it was. But it definitely had a nice healthy bump on the 5th. Tell me you own Dogecoin. I don't have any crypto right now, Victory. I haven't invested in anything since we bought the house. We did cash out a bunch of crypto and stocks to put a down payment on the house though. If you really want to know. Brimo and I bought Boeing. We bought Boeing stock in May of 2019 or May of 2020 when it tanked during COVID. And yeah, I knew it was going to spike back because, well, at the time I knew it was going to spike back. Nowadays, that's probably not the case, but at the time, yeah, it worked. Let me show you. So we bought right here, right there, and then we bought the house in 2022. So we bought right there. And like I said, we bought the house right around somewhere in here. This is when we cashed out to put the down payment. So it was actually right before it tanked. Nice. It never came back. Well, dude, we bought at 120 a pop, dude. We bought at 120. It was a pretty damn good return considering when we cashed out would have been somewhere around here. Yeah, we did all right. It was enough for a down payment on a house. Let me put it that way. So, yeah. I will always tell you guys if we invest, just because, you know, I don't want people getting the wrong idea. Like, all of a sudden, out of the blue, I start being like, you know, Lockheed Martin is really good. I really like them. We should want them to do good. Like, you know, that would be a little weird, right? Like, I'll always tell you if it's an aerospace company and we invest, I'll let you know. Not before the matter, though. Not before the fact. Then it could be taken as advice. But I say that as a conflict of interest, out of conflict of interest, just in case. Got so lucky buying Rocket Lab in August. Nice, Schnooze. Portfolio's probably doing very good. All right, Graham. Good talking to you, buddy. I'll see you tomorrow. All right, let's see. Message from the Deputy Inspector General. Improving the management of major programs and projects. This is a 1-minute read, huh? This is a 1-minute read. All right. Let's I don't think we're going to read the whole thing, but oh, look. Viper. Interesting. We don't know yet, Journey. Why is this PDF poo-poo? I'm just looking around. Let's see what we got here. Each year, NASA invests billions of dollars in major projects with life cycle costs of at least $250 million to extend human presence beyond low Earth orbit, to understand and explore Earth and the solar system, and to conduct aeronautics research. In fiscal year 2024, NASA planned to invest more than $80 billion over the life cycle of major projects in support of the agency's Artemis campaign. LEO missions in support of the International Space Station, ISS or station, and science and aeronautical research missions such as Mars Sample Return and the X-59 Low Boom Flight Demonstrator. While each of these projects incorporate a one-of-a-kind technological and scientific advances, they often cost more and take longer to develop than promised, the effects of which are felt across the agency. Among the challenges NASA faces managing these projects are overly optimistic assumptions about cost, schedule, and the level of effort required to develop new technologies. Oh, geez, that sounds familiar. How do you know how much it's going to cost? That's weird. That's like I've been saying that. That's kind of funny. I don't know, man. NASA kind of funny. You funny too. Gee, interesting point. Yeah, Black Eagle, it's pretty funny, huh? NASA's Artemis campaign is a multi-mission, multi-decade endeavor to return humans to the moon and build a sustainable lunar presence as a foundation for human exploration of Mars. To achieve this ambitious and costly undertaking, the agency is overseeing the development of several new systems: SLS, Orion, upgraded ground systems, 2 landers to transport astronauts to the lunar surface, Gateway, space, next generation spacesuits, and a lunar rover. After more than a decade of preparation and several delays, in December 2022, NASA successfully completed Artemis 1, an uncrewed test flight. Artemis 1 was a significant achievement for NASA, providing important data and lessons learned from the testing of hardware, software, processes, and teams that will help prepare the agency for future Artemis missions. Despite this achievement, NASA still faces multiple challenges to achieve its ambitious Artemis goals. One foundational challenge facing the Artemis campaign is its enormous expense. Past work has shown that NASA has had difficulty controlling costs of its key systems associated with Artemis, resulting in concerns about the overall sustainability of the program. Here we go. In 2021, we projected the total Artemis cost between 2012 and 2025 to be $93 billion. Hey, hey, how's that constellation program looking now? Looks pretty cheap compared to this. Just saying. Just saying. Looks pretty cheap compared to this. Yeah. Yeah. How's that looking now? We saved $30 billion. Yeah. That was their estimated amount from canceling Constellation. They saved at least $30 billion. That was taking into account schedule delays and stuff. Yeah. Oh, yeah. How's that working out? Yeah, it's good. Costs a lot of money to keep the lights on. Just saying. See? Do you see what I mean about how catastrophically bad getting rid of that was? We are going to be, we are feeling the repercussions of that to the tune of $93 billion. So, yep. Yep. Next time. So, chat, lesson. What's the lesson? Is EJ going to get mad here? No. Vindication is really nice. The lesson here is that anytime someone says we need to cancel this program to save money, they are full of shit. Sorry, my bleep key isn't working. That's the lesson here. You are full of... I'll take my time out. Every time someone has proposed canceling something in favor of something that costs less, we get the shaft. We pay more money for less capability. It's been happening since the Apollo program. Just saying. Nova? Where does Nova's comment go? That's right, it goes in the timeout hole. See what I mean, guys? Dude, 93 billion, dude, we could be on the moon right now with Constellation. Even with Constellation's scheduling delays, we would be on the moon. At the very least, Orion would have multiple test flights to the ISS. At the very least, like worst case scenario, and maybe one Ares 5 launch. You see how catastrophically bad this is? This is why we need to fix Artemis, like right now. Right now, this needs to be fixed. This is awful. Do you see? Oh, we're going to cancel it because it's cheaper. No, it's not. No, it's not. How would people funny tax money into their pockets then? You know what, Grog? You can call me a little bit cynical in this regard. I don't care if they want to funnel tax money into their pockets. I don't care. Just launch something into space. We could have done this with Constellation. We could have done this. We could have done this with Constellation. We could have funneled tax money into people's pockets and also go to the moon. It's not mutually exclusive. Case in point, the Apollo program. It's not one or the other. You can do both of those things. I don't care. Yeah, I get it. Pork projects and job program. That's fine. Please launch something. Yes, please launch something. Anyway. With the production cost through Artemis 4 to be at least $4.1 billion per launch. We already went over that. That's not an expensive price tag when you don't have anything else. Okay? We would have been on the moon by now and it would have cost less. Yes, that's correct. Yes. EJ, we're on your side. I know, BA. I know. It's just... Dude, every day I get another cited example of why that was a stupid idea and no one fixes it. Ah! Anyway, okay. Since then, NASA has requested additional funding for Artemis systems through fiscal year 2029, with the Artemis 5 mission delayed until 2030. Why not Zoidberg? Hello? At the same time, the lack of a comprehensive cost estimate for the Artemis campaign means that Congress and other stakeholders lack the level of transparency and insight needed about the long-term cost, feasibility, and sustainability of the effort. Oh my God. NASA must also continue to resolve technical challenges that could impact plans for upcoming Artemis missions. The most immediate challenge is the Artemis 2 mission, set for September of 2025, which will return humans to the lunar orbit for the first time in more than 50 years. See Figure 1 for a timeline of Artemis missions. Like Artemis 1, the crewed test flight will require SLS, Orion, and Mobile Launcher 1, the platform and tower that supports SLS launches. Since Artemis 1, NASA has worked diligently to analyze and address technical issues that emerged from the test flight, such as those with Orion's heat shield. Did you apply for a cabinet position? No, but if you want to make me NASA administrator, if a guy wants to make me NASA administrator, I'd do it. I'll send you my resume. It'll just say I know things about space, and that should be good enough. Too real? Too real? Too real? Too real. Okay. Yep. All right. Never mind. Well, the heat shield successfully protected the Orion crew vehicle, and it's... Sorry. Sometimes you get unfiltered, EJ, and I apologize. My bad. I actually laughed. All right, cool. I got a chuckle out of it. Sorry. The Senate hearing for EJ would be fire. Oh, it would be, dude. That would get all the views on social media. Upon inspection, engineers noted unexpected variations in the appearance of material that helps protect the capsule from the heat of re-entry. Yeah, the heat shield came apart in a way that they didn't understand, which on a test flight, when you do the final test flight for something before you put humans on it, think of it like a final exam at school. You don't want to learn anything during that. Yeah, that's bad. That means you didn't study good enough. Case in point. With that being said, aerospace engineering is kind of a asterisk there because you're never going to be able to study good enough. There's no way to perfectly 100% accurately simulate an entire flight end to end without actually launching it, which is why I always say launching it more might be a good idea. And people say, EJ, that's too expensive. Yeah, okay. Would you rather your heat shield come apart with people on board? Yeah, no, I don't want that. Yeah, I don't want that at all. We'll pay another $4 billion for another one to test it. Yeah, that probably would be a good idea. Just saying. Just putting it out there. Specifically, portions of the char layer wore away differently than NASA engineers predicted, breaking off the spacecraft in fragments rather than melting away as designed. To its credit, NASA expressed a commitment to understanding the root cause of the heat shield char loss. Once again, flying it more, this problem probably would have been uncovered before the next flight is, the one with people on it. Yeah, heat shields are kind of needed for human missions to space. That's kind of important. Moreover, the agency is taking action to address other issues that impact its launch readiness, including the upgrades and modifications required to support the addition of crew and testing and integration of the SLS, Orion, and ML1. NASA also faces forthcoming challenges as it prepares for Artemis 3, the mission intended to return humans to the surface of the moon. NASA has delayed the mission to September 2026 in part to provide additional time to develop space... Wait, what? NASA has delayed the mission to September of 2026 in part to provide additional time to develop Space Exploration Technology Corporation's Starship, which the company is developing along with the Super Heavy booster for lunar landing services for Artemis 3. Yeah. That's the reason why you delayed it till September of 2026. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, that's the reason. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I will say this once and I will say this again. I want NASA to have their own in-house program. With that being said, Starship will not be the bottleneck in getting back to the moon. I'm telling you right now, it will not. No way. Prior to the crewed mission, SpaceX must conduct multiple flight tests to establish a fuel depot in LEO and demonstrate on-orbit propellant transfer to refuel the Starship lander. To mitigate risk, SpaceX must also conduct an uncrewed demonstration mission to land on the lunar surface. To date, SpaceX has launched 5 test flights of Starship. While the first 3 ended prematurely, the 4th and 5th test flight completed their objectives. This is the Office of Investigator General, Dread Swirl. This is the OIG is basically the person that comes in and asks people, like, think of the OIG to NASA what the Bob consultants are to Initech in Office Space. You know, what would you say you do here? Yeah, that's what OIG does. OIG is pretty cool. See, here's the thing. Here's the thing, fellas. OIG is really, really cool. And OIG always has these great recommendations for how to fix these problems. The OIG submits their report, right? And it goes to I think it's the Senate Commerce, Justice, and Science Committee. I'd have to, Spaceflight Civics, I'd have to go, I should know this, but basically they submit their report and they work with NASA. Sometimes NASA agrees with them. Sometimes NASA says, no, everything is good. Either way, none of their recommendations ever get done. Nobody ever does anything with it. That's why this is so annoying. Like, I've been reading OIG reports for, like, and sharing them for Space News for a half decade. And they all say the same thing. This is nothing new that they haven't said, except them saying a Starship is the bottleneck is pretty funny. But whatever. They always have great recommendations, and a lot of my opinions about having an integrated architecture and trying to fix the contracts and everything comes from learning from the OIG reports. They never do anything with them. That's what's annoying. They never do anything. There's always recommendations with an Office Investigator General or a government accountability report about what you should do. And sometimes the recommendations are good. And sometimes NASA says, no, we're not doing that. What is the link to that doc? You would like to look at it yourself? Sure. Yeah, Eagle. I'll link it over in Twitch chat too, just in case. Concurrently in development is Axiom Space next generation spacesuits. NASA has chosen to use commercial services contract with Axiom Space for the Artemis 3 spacesuits, issuing a task order in September 2022 worth nearly $230 million. Axiom is required to test the suits in a space-like environment prior to Artemis 3. While several improvements are expected to the previous government design of the suits, such as Axiom designed life support components and cooling systems, additional testing may be required to mature these systems. I think the spacesuits are going to be the bottleneck, not Starship. Bottleneck is canceled programs, but sure. To create redundancy, in July 2023, the agency issued a task order to Collins Aerospace, tasked with developing a new ISS spacesuit, to begin cross-developing an additional spacesuit for use on the lunar surface. However, in June of 2024, Collins announced it was stopping development of its spacesuits for both Artemis and the ISS. Yeah, also, the other reason why putting critical pieces of hardware for your space program entirely in the hands of commercial is a really stupid idea. That one right there. There's nothing stopping the commercial contractor from just pulling out of the program. Yeah. Probably it would be a good idea to have kept your in-house program, huh? Can't keep a good man down, Bruce, can ya? Now look at me when I'm talking to you, son. That's a Jim Carrey impression. It's a Jim Carrey impression doing an impression of Bruce Dern. Anyway, Moving on. Well, this eliminates NASA's planned spacesuit redundancy. SpaceX is developing its own spacesuits. It'll happen too, Simon. Can't reception. NASA challenges for mission beyond. Oh, SpaceX is developing its own spacesuits, which were tested during a private astronaut mission in September of 2024. Ah, yes, private astronaut mission. Why don't you just take Rook down a peg or two? Appreciate it. You know, he's not amazing in every way, shape, and form. Whatever. Yeah, private astronaut mission. Okay. That's like when the ESA called Falcon 9 the launcher because they didn't want to admit that their payloads were launching on a vehicle that works. Just saying. NASA's challenges. OAG can't appear to have favorites, so they can't call the mission by its name. Okay. NASA's challenges for missions beyond Artemis 3 include development of the upgraded SLS rockets and the second mobile launcher, ML2. Building the space station gateway, bringing a second lunar lander option online, and debuting the LTV, lunar terrain vehicle. So that's the lunar rover. ML2 is in the critical path of that infrastructure needed to launch the upgraded SLS, Block 1B, and Block 2 rockets. Originally, oh God, here we go. Prepare to get kicked in the junk, figuratively. I got my cup on. Let's go. Originally awarded in June of 2019 for $383 million with a delivery date to NASA in March of 2023, we reported in August 2024 that NASA now estimates the contract to cost no more than $1.8 billion and the delivery of the launcher to occur by September of 2027. Oh God, I'm okay. I'm okay. You okay? Are you okay? You okay, Chad? We're all right? However, we projected that cost could reach $2.7 billion, and delivery could be delayed until spring of 2029. It could be. I doubt it. Because their original report shined a light on Bechtel, and everybody thinks they're suckers now. I think they'll deliver it on time for a change. Well, on time there, not there. But it could potentially surpass the Artemis 4 launch date. In addition, the upgraded SLS Block 1B, currently under development, which will launch from ML2, continues to experience cost increases, schedule delays, and quality management deficiencies. The agency continues to refine requirements for Gateway and is reviewing the schedule to better align with the Artemis 4 mission. NASA's second HLS provider, Blue Origin's Blue Moon lander, must demonstrate its on-orbit propellant transfer and perform one uncrewed demonstration mission to the lunar surface prior to its expected use for Artemis 5 in 2030. In April of 2024, NASA announced that the selection of 3 companies to develop LTV capabilities. Yeah, they started asking people to make lunar rovers. You'd be okay if you actually believe 1.8 billion in 2027. Guys, the reason why this, okay, little bit of an asterisk on the mobile launcher, okay? You could take the cup off. No, there's no more gut punches or nut shots here, okay? Look. Everyone wrote and everyone reported that the Mobile Launcher 2 project was done by a company called Bechtel. Bechtel is a heavy industry contractor that do a lot of government projects. They build nuclear power plants, amongst other things. They do a lot of road infrastructure projects. They worked on the Big Dig in Boston. Bechtel has a knack for underbidding. That's what they do. They underbid to get the contract and negotiate a contract structure like this, where the actual cost kind of reveals itself over time, right? So they underbid. They do that thing that the OIG talked about in the beginning, where there's not really a fundamental understanding of cost and scheduling here. The ML2 contract was a cost plus $383 million contract. Okay. I can understand a price increase because of COVID, supply chains, etc., etc. You need construction workers to work on site to build it. I understand it could go over budget then, but it's gone over budget 2 more times since COVID. The reason why is the contract structure is frankly terrible. There are no scheduling milestones with this. They just said we'll give you 383 million initially. If you need to ask for more money, you just let us know, and then deliver it in 2023. Yeah, just deliver it in 2023. No scheduling milestones, no analysis milestones, no nothing. No nothing. Now, if you're going to sit there and you're going to say, wow, that really makes Bechtel sound like they're an idiot. Well, like they're stupid, like they have no idea what they're doing. Yes and no. I know it's funny to Bechtel's dumb. Look at how stupid they are, right? I did some digging about this because I couldn't understand it either. Like, it sounds like just, okay, you have a government contractor that's just trying to bleed NASA dry. And, well, that's not necessarily out of the realm of possibility. Bechtel has a notorious past of underbidding on contracts. Like, they've been doing that for a century of government contracts. No, not an exaggeration. Well, I'm not going to say that that could or couldn't be the case. What I am going to point out is, and I'm interested, it's very interesting that OIG didn't mention this. Okay. Setting up ML2, whatever company got that contract, is being set up to fail. Crazy cost overruns were going to be inevitable here. Now, listen. I'm not defending Bechtel by any means. Every aerospace project goes over budget to an extent. You're never going to get it exactly right. Okay? I understand that. I'm not giving Bechtel the benefit of the doubt here. However, building ML2 is not just as simple as just building the mobile launcher. Oh, just build another one. It's just like ML1, right? No, it's not like ML1. It's completely different. Why? Why is it completely different? Well, long story short, there are weight limits on the crawlerway. And it seems like this was not taken into account when the SLS program was first kind of brought about. It was not taken into account when the SLS came around. The crawlerway has a weight limit, okay? You got to remember, you're moving the crawler transporter, you're moving the rocket, fueled, might I add, because solid rocket boosters, and you're also moving the launch umbilical tower and the entire launch pad. You're moving all of it. That whole thing. You see this thing? That weighs like 8 million pounds. Okay? The rocket weighs 8 million pounds. So you're moving upwards of 15 million pounds down the crawlerway. The real problem here from the contract part of this thing, and this is where I'm not turning a blind eye to Bechtel, but this is an interesting point here. The problem in this regard is that you're getting to the weight limits. So, okay, here's the thing. You're designing a mobile launcher that has weight limits for the crawlerway. The mobile launcher can only be so heavy, or else the crawler transporter can't move it. It'll just sink into the ground, right? You are designing a mobile launcher with a launch umbilical tower for a vehicle. Oh, hello, Titan. You're designing it for a vehicle that hasn't been engineered yet. How can you design a mobile launcher for a vehicle where you don't know how much it's going to weigh when you have weight limits? This was written about in a government accountability report. So it's not entirely on Bechtel. I mean, even though it kind of is. But you can't design a mobile launcher for a vehicle where you don't know the full mass of the vehicle. You have a projection. Especially when your mass margins are in play here. The vehicle is going to cost this much. Your upper weight limit is here. You have to try to build a mobile launcher that bridges that gap on a vehicle that hasn't been engineered yet. That's the reason why the costs go so high on mobile launcher 2. It's frankly idiotic. Could have seen that one coming. But apparently they didn't. So it's not just entirely on Bechtel. Just here, hold on. Puppy cam time. Hello. Titan, come here, buddy. Hello, come here. Hi, buddy. Hello, how you doing? You want to say hi to chat? Just say hi to chat. You just say hi to chat. What's up, Bree?
Nothing. I just figured he hadn't been in to see you today, and we were outside taking our nightly poo-poos. And
Nope, that's not for you, pal. How you doing? Good?
Fine,
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good?
Good.
How was your Chipotle?
Delicious.
Chipotle-licious. Titan, you all right? He's a good boy. He's a good boy.
Why do you take the leash?
I don't know. Come here, buddy.
Do you want to hang out with him?
No, not really. I hang out with him a lot.
You do.
So Titan decided to rub 2 of his brain cells together today, and decided that when I was taking him for a jaunt this morning, he decided he was going to rub 2 of his brain cells together because it's, there was a trash can on the side of the road, on the opposite side of the road that we were walking down. He decided to rub 2 of those brain cells together and dart towards the trash can because he wanted to sniff it and almost got run over. Yeah. Good job, buddy. Really, really making those brain cells work. Yeah. Sometimes he uses 5 brain cells. Sometimes he's 2. He used 2 today. So I had to yank him out of the street and he went flying into a bush. But I would rather have dog flying into plant than dog pancake. Don't worry. He knows. I didn't yell at him, but he knows he messed up. Come here. Get up here. There you go. Don't run into the street, buddy. That's bad for you. Gwen, I'm not touching that one. I'm not touching that one. Nope. I'm not touching that one at all.
I did see someone today that had a sign, any functioning adult 2028. And I was like, oh good, it's starting early. But they clearly blocked off the 2024 and the 4.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Anyway. All right, buddy. I'll see you later. I'll see you soon. I love you. It was his firm missile impersonation. Stop letting him watch police chase videos. Okay, that's fair.
Bye, baby.
All right, see ya. We have harnesses. Think like, yeah. Yeah, John. He decided to dart out, and thankfully, the person at the wheel, the guy driving a work van, was paying attention. He swerved out of the way, and I yanked the dog, dude. He went flying. But he's still alive, so, that's good. Hey, go easy on Titan. He's a dog. Yeah, I didn't yell at him because I found that yelling at dogs just makes them scared of you. It doesn't make them listen to you. Yeah, I don't do that. I don't do that. I made it very clear that I was not happy. Your human Titan was not happy with what you just did. No, Alamander, I haven't. But anyway, yeah, you don't yell at dogs. Raising your voice is, you don't do that. It's a dog. He doesn't know. He has 5 brain cells. Leave him alone. Okay, so anyway, talking about ML2. They tasked Bechtel with making a mobile launcher for a vehicle that didn't exist yet when you had weight limits. How do you design a mobile launcher where you know the maximum weight limit and you don't know the weight limit of the vehicle that you're moving? That's a very, very hard sell. And to Bechtel's credit, they had to redesign the entire mobile launcher to be lighter but stronger. Building ML2 is not just building another mobile launcher. It's definitely not a copy of ML1. Fun fact, because Mobile Launcher 1 was originally built for Ares 1, and then they retooled it for SLS, a vehicle that's probably like 6 million pounds heavier than the mobile launcher that it was designed to work with, Mobile Launcher 1 sags. Yeah, it actually bends. It bends and flexes and sags because they put a vehicle on it that was like 300% more heavy than what it was originally designed to move. because it ran into those same problems. Now, it's interesting to me because somebody looked at Mobile Launcher 1 and said, okay, we know the weight limit problems here. You know, let's go, right? And then we still have weight limit problems. ML1 sags like crazy, Trey. It bends. Yeah, it's actually deforming. It's bending to one side because it's way too heavy. It was not designed to move a rocket that big. It was designed for Ares 1, dude. Yannick, one could make a ginormous airship so it doesn't weigh on the ground. No. What? No. Why would... What? What's the weight limit of the crawler weigh, and what was that set in the 60s? The upper levels here are about 16 million pounds, John. That's really where the crawler transporter starts having some problems and it starts sinking into the ground. Yeah, it gets bad after that. The reason why the Apollo engine, why the Apollo engineers do 15, 16 million pounds, because you're moving Saturn V's. Saturn V's aren't fueled. They're not fueled. Dude, okay, you want to hear some crazy stuff? You want to hear some crazy stuff? Take a look. Let's look at this report. Right? Look at this report. You can go look this up if you want to double check me. See SLS on the pad right there? See it? One solid rocket booster casing. One fully fueled SRB weighs more than the entire frigging core stage. One segment weighs as much as that whole damn thing because you're moving fueled rockets instead of unfueled rockets. Make sense? There's 10 segments, guys. 10. So the Apollo engineers designed it with the upwards 15, 16 million because von Braun didn't like solid rocket boosters. That's the truth. And you could build a much bigger rocket than the Saturn V, right? And you'd never get near that weight limit if it's all liquid fuel. I'm back, EJ. Keep my pillow. I'm back. EJ, my pillow kept warm. Couldn't sleep, so just stay up, I guess. Oh, okay. Nah, warm pillows are not acceptable, dude. Cold pillows are where it's at. Do you know what the density is on those SRB segments? Yes. So that's the problem we're having here. Like, a little bit of context for that mobile launcher thing that not a lot of people know. Yeah. It's ridiculous that costs could project up to $1.9 billion on a $383 million contract. But also, that's just bad contract awarding on NASA's part, because these are problems that you probably should have thought about before you built your stupid rocket. You're building your rocket with your launch pad and launch complex and transport mechanisms grandfathered in. You probably should have thought about this. So you don't have to do this, don't have to run into this problem. But can't do that. Once again, this is symptomatic of basically a lack of an overarching goal. No long-term goals here. So you're saying an SRB weighs almost a third of an entire fueled Saturn V. Yeah, Trey. Yeah. Here. Let me just make sure. I got it right. I just want to be sure. Yep. Gross mass. So full mass right there is 590 tons. 590 tons for one of them. One of those. Yeah. Oh yeah, the video SRB separation is dope. Yeah, it's STS-117. I saw that launch, by the way. Aren't liquid rocket engines better than SRBs for power and efficiency? Absolutely not. No. SRBs have way more characteristic energy. They're really good as first stages. Really good as first stages. These are the 4-segment ones, not 5 segments. Yeah, that's right, Gaw. That's a good point. Yep. So, we're talking 1,200 for just that. 1,200 tons for just that. That's 2.6 million pounds. Just for those. And the 5 segments are even more. The 5 segments are probably like 3, 4. Well, maybe not 4. Like, let's say 3.5 million pounds. You see how much of that eats away at that 15 million right there? That is the reason, as far as I can tell, why the ML sucks. Because you designed, you told this company, which is notorious for underbidding on contracts, you awarded this company, which is notorious for underbidding on contracts, a contract for a really, really difficult problem to solve. And I'll bet you that's probably the reason why Bechtel got that contract, because this is a really tough one to solve. And once again, that contract was setting them up to fail. It's setting them up to be the scapegoat. But I don't think Bechtel gives a frick. They're crying all the way to the bank. Yeah, ML2, you can actually see it under construction in this picture. This picture was taken in September. It is way stronger. Look at all the beef in there. Way stronger than ML1. You'll see. You'll see it when they roll it out, guys. When they roll it out, it is stronger and lighter, which is a hard thing to do when you're talking about something that needs to withstand a nuclear blast worth of pressure at the bottom. What's the 15 million pounds from? The limit of the mobile launcher or the crawler way? It's a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. Don't ask me how I know that information, shots. Probably not information that you can look up. Here, let me show you. There are clues to this information, though, okay? Let's go back to 2022. Let's look around. Let me look around. See if we can see something. There's 2 MLPs right there. Okay, let's go over here. Let's look around. I need to look around to see if you can see them testing this on Google Earth. I'll show you. No. I literally just got home, so I came in the middle. Oh, you got through in the middle of this. What I was basically saying, dude, so a little while back, the CT2 basically took one of the shuttle's mobile launchers, and then they took crane counterweights and put it on it to do a weight test, and then started moving the crawler transporter around. And they figured out the upper limits of the hardware. Nobody talked about it, but I saw it on... you could see it on Google Earth somewhere, and then also we saw it. I think they showed it on Space Coast Live on NASA Space Flight. Will ML1 be retired when it's ready? I don't see what you're going to do with it, John. You cannot put Block 1B or Block 2 on that thing. It'll break. Too heavy. I don't know what they're going to do with ML1, to be honest with you. No idea. It's public information. Crawler weighs a weight limit of 25.2 million pounds. However, the crawlers themselves have a weight limit of 18 million pounds. There you go. That's what it was, Trey. So that's what I'm saying. You can sit here and you can fault Bechtel all you want. And, you know, there's plenty to criticize, I think. But also at the same time, you're telling them to design a mobile launcher that needs to be the biggest and strongest mobile launcher that we've made, but it also needs to be the lightest mobile launcher we made. Because you're designing it for a vehicle that you don't know how heavy is, because it hasn't been made yet. You don't know how heavy the vehicle that you're designing it for is because it hasn't been made yet. Good times. Good times. Smart. See what I mean? This is what I mean when I say, like, you know, people ask me, what would you change with SLS? The contracting. The contracting is awful. It's so bad. The way the contracts are set up are just almost incentivizing just pissing away cash. Because whoever, like when this, well, it turns out when politicians design rockets, it doesn't end well because they don't know anything about this. I go away for 30 minutes and we're still on Bechtel. Yeah, going away for 30 minutes. You didn't see the part where Titan and Bree came in. So, you know, you could just assume we're talking about Bechtel the entire time, Super. It's all right. It's all right. You know what assuming does? Makes you look like an idiot. Not me. No, me. I'm good. I'm the streamer, man. This is my stream. Now, Titan and Bree came in. So, yeah, I was just kind of putting it back together. My question, why does NASA need the launch tower on the mobile launcher? Couldn't they save a ton of mass and complexity of the crawler transporter by just making the tower fixed at the pad? Mini B, that's what they did with the space shuttle program, because this is the problem they had with the space shuttle program. Because the space shuttle program has SRBs, and having the SRBs pushes the limits of the crawler transporters. So they put all the infrastructure at the pads. I know. Weird, huh? So why go back? Lack of foresight? I don't know. Lack of vision? This is, maybe that's what I'm talking about. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. This is, you know, if I have criticisms for the Artemis program, it wasn't figuring out these big problems. You have this awesome thing about going to the moon to Mars, blah 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 blah. You can't even build a launch pad correctly because you didn't take the time to see if your launch pads could handle the vehicle that you designed. You just assumed that would be a thing. It's not. It's just poor decisions after poor decisions after poor decisions. Yeah, multi-user pad design. Yeah, never. Hell Hydra. That's, dude. I will say it once, I'll say it again. NASA trying to do the whole multi-user spaceport thing is the cringiest crap I've ever seen in my life. Yes, we want to have a multi-user spaceport. Maybe that makes sense with the SLF that you're not using. But with the launch pads? No. No. You pay the price for your lack of vision. Well, we have paid the price for our lack of vision, Lunprod, to the tune of $93 billion. How much height under the mobile launcher for propulsion in the tracks? You think you could put some locomotive tracks in the driveway and pull it right to the point? No, Craig, trains will sink into the ground, dude. The reason why they went with the crawler way... Okay, so here's the thing. You need something to build the launch vehicle. To cast your mind back to the Apollo program. You need something that builds the launch vehicle. You need to stack a vehicle that's 330 feet tall. Okay? And then you need to launch it. So, I know that you guys are, Mini B, you asked, launch umbilical tower, everything is so heavy. Why move the entire pad? Would you rather move the VAB? Because that's what they were doing in the Apollo program up until that point. Think about it. Here, we'll go into my awesome reference pictures. Ready? Ready? You're not ready. Look. Their solution to that problem up until that point was to move the integration building away from the pad, like at Complex 34 or Complex 37. When you're trying to stack a vehicle that's the size of a 33-story building, moving the VAB, putting the VAB on wheels doesn't seem like a good idea. And it wasn't. So they opted for a fixed integration structure. And then instead of moving your assembly building to the pad, they moved the pad to the assembly building because the VAB was going to be the heaviest thing by a long shot. This thing weighs nothing in comparison to that. That's the reason why they chose this architecture. That makes sense? This all really, really works really, really well when you're moving a liquid fuel launch vehicle that doesn't weigh very much. When you're moving something with solids, this starts to get a little Slick 6 moment. Yeah. Yeah, that's the funny thing, dude, right? They retooled this for the shuttle, right? And they had to take all this stuff off because the shuttle was so damn heavy. A shuttle stack's heavier than the Saturn V, I'm pretty damn sure. I'd have to go look. Maybe the Saturn V is a little bit heavier, but it's almost as heavy, right? Actually, no, it's not as heavy, but it's close. Anyway, moving on. There's a reason why with Slick 6, right? Why the Air Force chose to just build the shuttle right on the pad and have mobile service buildings. Because the weight of the launch vehicle, when your launch vehicle suddenly just becomes ridiculously heavy for its size, it makes more sense to just build it on the pad and move the buildings, right? You could do that with the shuttle because you're going back to a vehicle that's only 20 stories tall, not 30 stories tall, right? So that made sense. That this, believe it or not, this type of design, moving the integration buildings away from the stack and not moving the stack and the launcher to the integration building makes a lot of sense. Ironic, considering that they did the exact opposite of that to quote-unquote save money during the shuttle program. And because of the weight of this thing, they moved the fixed service structure and everything off to the side. That in the vehicle slews off the pad, so that's another story. $4.5 million for the shuttle, $6.2 million for the Saturn V. Can you believe that, Trey? A vehicle that's half the size weighs 2/3 of the total mass. That's the weight difference we're talking about here. Crazy, right? We swooned enough over Slick 6 yesterday, but you get the idea. That's why this design makes sense with this. But they just assumed because it worked with the shuttle program that it'll work just fine. That it'll work just fine with SLS. It'll be fine. Yeah, no, it works with the shuttle. We could just add another segment. Seriously, they did not think about this. Anyway, yeah, this is all part of the OIG. Like, it's just the whole program architecture is fragmented and crappy. It's terrible. It's so bad. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that they're gonna move to the ISS from there in the report. The SLS stuff is what I wanted to talk about, but crazy, right? Okay. I'll save those 3 space news stuff that Phil sent over for another day.
Discovery.
Hey, not a cat, 46-month resub. Yeah, the shuttle's about 2/3 the mass of a Saturn V, excuse me. I have a lot of information floating around up there, but still proves my point. Do the Orion news I sent you. I pick what articles get shared for space news, Trey. No, dude, there's so much stuff to get through and so much stuff to talk about. Please, I'm asking nicely. Do not say, share this thing that I share. No. If I was doing that, I would just have to listen to people telling me that all day. I appreciate you sending links, dude. I really do. Thank you very much. But if I shared every single link that I got, this would get out of hand real quick, and it would just be me looking at people's links constantly for like 6 hours straight. I choose what to share, man. That's my rule. You didn't know. It's all good. Anyway, check this out. Ship 31, when it did roll out, look at the difference in tiles. Crazy, right? Ship 31 rolled. SpaceX had some awesome pictures. We did share this at the top of Space News, but look. Mini B, it just hurts your brain that no one did the math, or if they did, no one with sway listened. Yeah, they fired all the people that knew this. And then, yeah, they fired all the people because they canceled Constellation and the shuttle at the same time. Anybody that had any inkling about any of this, fired. Once again, Constellation getting canceled and the shuttle program getting canceled at the same time that was a fiasco. That was the biggest fiasco for NASA since canceling the Apollo program. And also Challenger and Columbia and Apollo 1. Those are probably higher. But that was the biggest fiasco. The brain drain that occurred at NASA, they have still not recovered from. And they frankly, unless we really, really, really start fixing things at NASA, they won't. In which case, we always got this. That's pretty cool. But check it out. Look at the difference. They really took a lot of tiles off 31. Look at the difference, man. They took a bunch of those things off there. Did I see the drawworks get delivered? Yeah. I've heard, seen something about that. I like that Great Western that's pulling it. Look at the bottom right flap on Ship 31. The bottom right flap has some tiles on the not hot side, interestingly enough. Of course, Saturn V was pushing the moon. Shuttle target was low Earth orbit. Caviar, look at the mass of a Falcon 9. Seriously. The shuttle was insanely heavy for what it is because solid rocket boosters. But that's the only way you're getting your 62-ton brick into space. Unless you want to make a bigger launch vehicle. There's not a single tile down there. It's a cluster of 8 or 6 tiles. No. 2, 3, 7 tiles down there. We saw it up close the other day. They also started plumbing in the new subcoolers for Pad B. Awesome. Killer. Yes, Ship 31 has a banana on it. The peanut butter jelly time guy is holding a banana that says for scale on it. What are those tiles for? It's probably the tiles that are on the backside of one of the flaperons, Graham, are probably there for just thermal protection testing. It's probably testing something. It's almost like the story about how Raytheon fired the guy who suggested they test their radars to see if they could get returns from cardboard. A few years later, cardboard was actually being used on the battlefield. Share my feelings about what? Dude. You know what, man? I love the Artemis program. I want to see NASA succeed, but boy, howdy hey, am I glad this exists. Holy crap. Because, if they flounder and it goes belly up, at least we got that. Which could potentially be better. But also, once again, well, we have the opportunity to have a good national space program and a good private space program. I'm going to try to do everything that I can to say that, to advocate for both of those things. But worst case scenario, we just get Starship, which, you know what? That doesn't suck. That's pretty good. I think taking the tiles off was a good idea because they know they can most likely. They tested the aluminum. Yeah, that's right, Graham. They had some aluminum tiles to kind of look at the temperature differences here. And I think that basically Okay, so here's the big deal. Obviously, you know, you're going to take tiles off of it, and taking tiles out of this design is going to make the vehicle lighter. Less mass, less rocket on the rocket means more payload on the rocket. You can move more things with it, which is great. That's all fine and dandy. That's fantastic, right? I think the big one is that this gives you room for a catch pin. If they can prove, if Ship 31 makes it through just fine with the tiles where they are, right? You could put a catch pin here. You might be able to simplify your catch pin design. And if you can simplify your catch pin design, like just putting like a super heavy hook right here, just because you're not in the windward flow, right? You might be able to just put that there and kill two birds with one stone. Have the same catch mechanism on the ship and the booster. In which case, we see ship landings and ship catches a lot faster. That's what I think they're doing. But I'm not, I obviously don't know for sure. I'm theory crafting, right? Now, with all that being said, right? Do I think a pin would survive here? It might get a little hot, and you probably don't want to heat up the thing that you probably don't want to heat up your quote unquote landing gear before landing. Probably don't want to do that, but who knows? I thought that Ship 29 was dead. I thought it was dead. When it had burn through on the flapper, I'm like, this thing's toast. That thing's gonna break up, and it didn't. So clearly, there's something to making your reentry vehicle out of stainless steel, and you know, clearly there's something to that. So here you go. MCRS. So this is the space engineer. I count exactly 1370 tiles removed. This brings 18,492 tiles from before down to 17,122. I have an unreasonable amount of spare time. Okay. Tiles themselves are 381 grams intact, not totally representative because half tiles and other unique ones exist, but the standard is about 381 grams. That's about 7 tons of tiles. The full heat shield was 10.5. That includes pins and ablatives, which hasn't changed. That's irrelevant. But anyway, very rough napkin math. You're removing 0.7 tons. Okay. The tile removal is not all about weight, though. There you go. There you go. Yeah, thousands. Yep. It's not all about weight. It's about being able to put a catch pin in place. I'm pretty sure that's their driving expectation behind doing that. Pretty sure. Best part is no part. Yeah, I think, guys, I'm not even sure SpaceX knew that the stainless steel would tank the heat as well as it does. Once again, if you told me that Ship 29 was going to land after the burn through, I would have called you nuts. In fact, I was in shock when that thing actually hit the water. Well, quote unquote, in one piece. It actually maneuvered to a precise point, as best as it could with a broken wing. It went a little bit off course because of said broken wing, but it still landed relatively in the landing area, which is bananas. If you told me that that thing was going to even make it through reentry, let alone coming down relatively near its landing area, I would have called you crazy. Burn through a heat shield is death in most cases. But clearly Starship doesn't care about that. Clearly it's not that big of a deal because it made it. And then the next one made it. Ship 30 made it through, and it had burned through as well, albeit not that much, but it made it. Your reaction was brilliant. Matt, I crapped a brick, dude. I couldn't believe that. The tile on the flap is probably this. What's this? SpaceX taking a little souvenir from SN15. Where will this wind up? Kevin Randolph took this from What About It? Aluminum on a ship? Yeah, right. Also, I wonder if the stainless tanking that heat hardens it. This type of stainless steel, Hellfish, the type of stainless steel alloy that they were using, gets stronger when it's cold. 304 or 30X stainless is the name of what they're, or 304X. It gets stronger when it's cold. But I mean, tempering it is going to do something, right? Could the burn through be attributed to the higher angle of attack on reentry? As far as I could tell, they flew the Snake. Flight 4 and 5 flew a similar reentry trajectory. We know that on Flight 6, they're actually going to fly at a higher angle of attack. My guess is that this is a destructive testing test. So if the other vehicles kind of came in like this, Ship 31 is going to come in like that almost. It's going to almost come through like tail first. Higher angle of attack. They're doing that to stress test the heat shield, which makes sense. Or I could just drop it, you know. I only dropped the chopper. Sure, but does it make it brittle? Don't know. That would be cool. That would be cool if it was, if that down there was part, if that piece down there was part of SN15, but who knows? I'm not sure what they mean by final descent. Yeah, Graham, that's what I was wondering too. But, yeah, we'll see. Daytime reentry and possible breakup would be a sight to see. Yeah, I know, Matt. Right. Look at that thing. Crazy. Really don't want to break up. Would love to see the landing. Yep. Also, the banana... Is the banana that the peanut butter jelly guy holding actually the size of a standard banana? It might be a smidge big. But for the most part, yes. Ryan on NSF said... On Countdown to Launch... Countdown said it could be after peak heating. Peak heating, guys, yeah, okay. I don't know if Ryan knows this, Matt. I don't know the context of that conversation. Peak heating does not necessarily mean the highest dynamic pressure on the vehicle, guys. In fact, peak heating occurs at higher points in altitude during an entry profile. Peak heating does not mean highest dynamic pressure encountered. The highest dynamic pressure that the vehicle is going to experience is well after peak heating. Peak heating isn't correlative to peak pressure. Oh, jeez. Interestingly enough. Peak heating is the highest temperatures encountered, Graham. Max Q is maximum dynamic pressure, right? Your dynamic pressure during landing is not going to occur during peak heating. So, what does that mean? If you were going to test something that's going to beat the snot out of your heat shield, you'd test it at max Q. You wouldn't test it at peak heating. Right? Right? Maximum dynamic pressure is the big hurdle for anything going up into space. Why should it be the same? Why would it be different for something coming down? Right? Heck, if you really want to go morbid, Columbia survived peak heating. It survived peak heating with one wing. And then what happened after that, you know, the shuttle already doesn't fly really, really well, and it really doesn't fly well with one wing. RIP. Specs. So, yeah, important to understand that. So the point that I'm trying to make, guys, is that if you're going to test something crazy with your heat shield, you wouldn't be doing higher angle of attack at peak heating. I mean, you could, but maximum dynamic pressure during landing, which occurs way later in the descent, is the time to do that, is the time to really, really try and break stuff, just like it is during ascent. I tried to explain this on Flame Trench the other day, and yeah, they were like, well, peak heating. I'm like, and I tried to explain it, but somebody else started talking. That's fine. That's what happens when you have co-commentators, which is cool. I didn't take it personally, but I'm like, I really should have mentioned that. Crap. Oh well. Yeah, Black Eagle, that's also a good hypothesis too, for sure. For sure, good hypothesis. Hypothesis. All right. So yeah, once again, Flight 6 is targeting Monday, November 18th at 4 Central Time for the launch. It's not going to be in the morning like it's been in the past. The reason why is SpaceX wants the Starship, when Ship 31 does come down, no matter whatever they're testing, they want to be able to see it. They want it to come down in the daytime so they can image it. So it's going to launch in the afternoon here and land in the morning on the other side of the world. Pretty cool, huh? I think that's pretty neat, dude. I think that's super cool. Just saying, like. But yeah, that's supposed to be on Monday afternoon, next week. It's gonna land in a similar spot to Flight 5, Kirill. Yep. All right, there's this last thing from Marcia Smith at Space Policy Online. It's a little bit of a thread that I did want to read here. I wonder what speed the Block 2s will belly flop at. I know Block 1 is 65 meters a second. It should be about the same, Graham. You're not changing your ballistic coefficient or coefficient of drag too much. Yeah, in an hour, Squig, right? Exactly. All right, so last bit of space news here. Let's see what we got. Marcia Smith at the Beyond Earth Symposium. Karen Feldstein, the head of international affairs at NASA, says there will be a new Artemis Accords signatory tomorrow. That'll be 48 countries that signed the Artemis Accords. The Artemis Accords are a piece of regulatory framework that basically sets the rules and standards for exploring the stars, particularly the moon. Yeah, 48 nations have signed it. Next bit. A Chinese embassy rep will be here tomorrow, and Feldstein says though Artemis Accords are open to all, there's a narrative out there that pits the Accords against China's ILRS. But she thinks it's good that China is also talking about the principles for responsible behavior in space. ILRS is basically anybody that's a spacefaring nation that doesn't like the Artemis Accords. So it's another framework for going to the moon, but it's our framework, so it's better than your framework. Yeah, that kind of nonsense. Right? Now a panel on presidential transitions with Scott Pace, Kevin O'Connell, Lori Garver, and Greg Autry, moderated by Courtney Stodd. Oh, dude, I actually probably would have liked to see this. Pace and Stodd were on the George W. Bush transition team from Clinton and reminisce about learning about the $4.8 billion space station cost overrun. That's what happens when you redesign it to work with Russian modules halfway through its development. Just saying, just putting it out there. Pace says landing teams, representatives of the new administration at each agency, need to focus on what skill sets are needed to lead the agency. For NASA right now, he thinks its expertise in program project management and systems engineering and integration more than policy. What skill sets are needed? What is needed? Program and project management, systems engineering, and integration more than Yes. Yes, Mr. Pace. Yes, Mr. Pace. That's right. That's right, Mr. Pace. The policy goes in the square hole. In a discussion about Elon Musk's influence, Pace says he doesn't think Elon Musk will try to get more money for his companies because Elon is mission-driven. Mike Pence's directive to get back to the moon quickly by any means necessary will take on more salience with Elon. Greg Autry says Elon's interest in small government exceeds his interest in space architecture, and people should pay attention to that because NASA's challenges are more organizational and cultural than technical. Not a bad point to make. Asked if this administration will get the U.S. back to the moon before China gets there, considering Artemis delays, Greg Autry says problems are organizational and cultural, and I believe they are going to be addressed swiftly. Oh, thank God. I would like to have seen that panel. I really hope that panel is taped, or if it's live streamed somewhere. Because that's right. That's pretty much right. It's pretty much stuff that I've been saying. I'd already talked your ear off about that this stream. You don't need to know about that. I can't believe Doge is real. No. Okay. He allowed that. Why? Of course that happened. Okay. There's a road closure tonight, I think, for Booster 13, but I haven't seen a transport stand. Yeah, it's Doge. It's Doge. It's Doge. Yep. No, I needed to be sure, weather guy. I needed to see yeah, no, that's the thing. Hey, all right. Hold on, real quick. I want to read this thing real quick. Shh. Interesting. He put a cap on the program. Interesting. That's yeah, that's very interesting that the Department of Government Efficiency basically has a shelf life. The shelf life, he said it'll conclude July 4th, 2026. Interestingly enough, America's 250th birthday. Elon said there will be merch. Oh God. Oh God. Oh no. Sorry, what are we talking about? Apparently the Department of Government Efficiency is going to be a thing. Thousands. I'm sure that was by design. Well, David, here's the thing. You know, anytime you make an efficiency department, right? It doesn't matter if it's a corporate structure, it doesn't matter if it's a government, it doesn't matter what it is. Anytime you make something that's supposed to streamline the system and make it more efficient, if it doesn't have a shelf life, you're not making anything more efficient. Because you just added a department to increase efficiency. You made it more complicated to increase efficiency, right? So that's why, like, consultants for corporations are only there for a short period of time. If the consultants were there the whole time, they wouldn't be consultants, and they wouldn't be there to make it run more efficiently, right? That's cool that I think that's super interesting that he put a shelf life on it, on the department, on DOGE, on the Department of Government Efficiency. That's pretty interesting. Unrelated, what are you rocking for a winter vehicle this year? The Fusion. Will, the Fusion. That's my winter car. I don't drive any of my, well, this is going to sound dumb. I don't drive any of my junk around in the winter. I don't do a winter beater. The reason why is I don't work. I don't drive anywhere. I don't drive anywhere. I drive to the grocery store. You know? Yeah, what would you say you do here, Kobe? That's what it's going to be. If you see the two people that were appointed, Elon isn't the only guy appointed to head the Department of Government Efficiency. Shelf lives can be extended by Congress. Last I heard, he was planning on making it a cabinet position. Interesting. What are you rocking for a sports car? I have a 2008 Mustang GT 5-speed. Yeah, Skeleton. We'll see how it pans out. I kind of fear that, you know, Elon would go to NASA and be like, "You all suck. Get rid of the whole thing." In which case that would be catastrophically bad. That wouldn't really fix anything. What I'm hoping is that Elon takes a look at the Artemis program and says this integrated mission architecture sucks complete butthole, and works to fix it with Jim. That's what I'm hoping for. That would be pretty cool. I think that's what's going to happen because he has such expertise in this. I think there will be more granularity with NASA. I'm hoping. Yeah, Fishy, that's what I'm kind of thinking. I think, you know, a lot of people think it's going to be the end of NASA. I disagree. I think NASA is going to be expanded pretty hard over the next couple of years. If I'm looking at this right. I've been pretty good about this. So, I don't know. Doesn't mean I couldn't be wrong for the first time, you know, or for the bajillionth time. I'm wrong about a lot of things, but I'm right about a lot of things too. Yeah, Dragon, I don't think it's going to be. Yeah, I really, like I said, I really think it's going to be NASA's budget will be expanded drastically. It'll be expanded, but not because of waste. It'll be expanded because NASA needs to get their butt in gear. I think it's going to be very good for NASA. And if Jim or Mike Griffin gets back in there, MP, oh man, dude. We're in for a perfect storm of spaceflight excellence. There's the potential here, and that's really, really what I'm banking on. I really think it'll happen. What is NASA's role? NASA is a spaceflight research or scientific aeronautic and astronautic research organization that basically is there to pioneer aerospace and spaceflight technologies that wouldn't be there. That the private sector wouldn't have the money to pioneer. They're there to make new markets in the sectors of aerospace. Next NASA administrator will be Tony the Tiger at this point. Tony the Tiger is orange. Just saying. All right, that's enough. That's enough Rule 8. Sorry, Unfiltered EJ came out there for a second. Sorry. Still coming down from the soapbox of the SLS talk. Sorry. Sorry. Sorry, my bad. I won't do that again. my fault. Hopefully I got a chuckle. Sorry. That was my bad. That was my bad. Sorry. Unfiltered EJ happened there for a second. Oh, jeez. Don't hate me. No. Yeah, Green Dragon. That's what I was talking about. Oh, no. Sorry. My fault. You were horrible. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's kind of funny. Come on. I chuckle. All right. All right. All right. All right. NASA needs to do more of its own in-house engineering, developing cutting-edge tech, not reusing old architecture to save a buck. It's insane how many cutting-edge tech they develop just to get cut because it's expensive. Yeah, Pie Guy. Yeah, exactly. That's always been my thing. Anybody that's out there that's saying X NASA program is too expensive is an idiot. An idiot of the highest caliber. Because that penny pinching mentality is why we have SLS. It's pretty straight. I mean, Pi, I know you know this. Like, I'm preaching to the choir here. I know, but it's true. It's true. The only time where we actually had a program that was successful, that we actually saw a return on investment on, was the one where we spent with basically a blank check to get it done. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. Like, this penny pinching mentality that NASA has screwed them basically since the shuttle program started. It's terrible for NASA. That's all you're doing is setting NASA up to fail. And when they inevitably do, everybody wonders why it happened. And schedule milestones. Yeah. Hey, Mike, 95-month resub. What's up, dude? All right, guys. That's going to do it for this space and rocket review. Bands for everybody. Trying to... Sorry. The unfiltered EJ gets a little crazy. I come back here and we rule 8 and... No. Oh, there's new Kitten Space Agency screenshots. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Black Rack's doing work, though. Maybe EJ gets a 24-hour ban. Yeah. Well, 12-hour mini B. 12. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good, man. I'm so happy RocketWorks is taking it on. Mumanji, I'm consulting on this project, dude. Yeah. I've been part of the KSA Discord for a good while now. Give me 1 second. I'm just speaking of that. Just making sure I'm caught up with that conversation. Imagine KSA with mods tailored to your playstyle. Yeah. Bruh. Yeah, I know, Black Eagle. We talked about that the other day. Whatever. I asked Hypemare if they bought the IP to KSP2, and they said no, it wasn't us. Shame. But yeah. Looking good, dudes. Looking good. This is great. Wait, Australia isn't upside down? Well, the game is being developed in New Zealand, Mike, so yeah. To them, they're not upside down, you know. It is what it is.
Discovery,
GG.
go and throttle up.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but Africa looks really good in this game. That was not okay. Okay. Yep. Moving on. Have you thought about how you would handle the KSA thing, considering that it was built by mods more fundamentally than Kerbal, and with Kerbal you always want stock? What? In Australia, it's always a good day. Yeah. All right, guys. That's going to do it for the Space and Rocket review. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This one actually went a little bit long, but yeah, good stuff. All right. What's today? Yeah, we're pushing up on 9 o'clock. So, yeah, guys, I don't think I'm going to do after hours this week. Just because once again, I am streaming we streamed today and we got one more stream tomorrow, and then Thursday, Friday is off. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is off for me. I will be back on Monday for the Starship launch. So we got another stream tomorrow, and yeah, I'll be here for it, but I'm running these condensed streams just because it's a weird week. Come next week, though, we hit the grind again. I need to make more progress on the pillar. We'll get hull segment 5 tooled up tomorrow, and then we got more space news after that, and then yeah, we'll go from there. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this Space and Rocket review. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you didn't get too bored of me just sitting here soapboxing about spaceflight policy, but I don't know, whatever. So I'll see you guys later. Thank you very much for the stream. I'll see you guys, tomorrow at noontime. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good night.